Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Um, so God is imaginary. Tell me why.
There's no evidence.
That he is imaginary?
There's no evidence that it exists.
How did you get here? How did life
Okay.
get here? How did life get here?
Well, life is a chemical process, and we know that it evolves through time.
Science. Science, you say?
Science? Well,
You
that's
you
just
were
one of
you
the
were going
ways.
to explain a process that is in simple terms science, right? So so what about space then? Who makes this Big Bang happen? The universal energy known as God made it happen.
Well, how do you know that?
Faith, my friend, faith.
But is faith knowledge? It's not.
Why should I be a vegan?
Because I could have faith that you're wrong about God.
Why should I be a vegan?
Hold on, you're not listening to what I'm telling you. Faith is useless because just as you have faith in God, I can have faith that there is no God. And we're in the same boat. Which one of us is right? We don't know. And so, the best way to approach this question, how do we get here? Why are we here? The best way to approach this is by actually learning how life happened. And we know life is a chemical process. We know that we evolved. We know how the earth formed and the sun. We know a heck of a lot about the universe. And for you to insert God in all the gaps of your knowledge is a fallacy.
It's
You
a
argue
fallacy for
from
you. It's not a
ignorance.
fallacy for me. I don't want to I don't know how much time you're allowing me. I wanted to ask you the last question of your debate. I believe trans women are women. Can do they have the reproductive organs of a woman, and can they bear children?
So a woman is not a sex, it's a gender identity. So gender and sex are distinct things. Now, what you're referring to is sex. You're referring to a female reproductive system, to which I agree. You can't be a male and a female at the same time. But nobody thinks that though. What we're saying is a trans woman is somebody who identifies as a woman, regardless of their sex, regardless of their genitals,
So they
because
can't they
because
can't bear
gender because
children.
gender
So they
comes
can't
from
bear children.
most trans women. No, they can't bear children.
Okay.
Neither can many cisgender women. That's irrelevant. The point is that it's irrelevant as to whether or not you're a woman, because womanhood comes from your identity, which is a neurobiological thing.
So if they dress up, if I dress up as Batman, does that make me Batman?
No, nobody said dressing up
Okay.
makes you Batman.
Okay.
Batman is a fictional character. It's not an identity. A trans woman, or what it means to be a woman, is an identity. It is something that your brain produces, right? I'm a man not because of my genitals, but because of my brain. All of us, all of our gender identities stem from our brains.
Okay, I have a question about why you should be vegan. What is your take?
You should be vegan because it's better for the animals. It's the moral thing to do.
Okay, so I used to be overweight. I used to be 220 pounds for like all of my life, right? I ate junk, I ate vegetables, whatever. As soon as I started eating red meat, prioritizing whole foods instead of only vegetables and basically lettuce, I found my health got so much better. I lost the weight. I'm now healthy, and everyone that's
Okay, we're
vegan
not.
has been
I understand
malnourished.
that.
You
let
understand
me let
vegans
me
being
explain to you. Let
malnourished.
me let me Let me say
Your body
something here.
needs meat.
Hold on. Let me say something here. So I agree that you can eat meat and be healthy, but that's irrelevant because I can be vegan to be healthy. I can lose weight as a vegan, and so we're not talking about health. We're
But you're
talking
not
about
getting the
ethics.
you're not getting the essential minerals and anything that your body needs from
Name
just
one.
fucking vegetables.
Name an essential nutrient I cannot get.
Amino acids.
Which one?
All amino acids come from steaks.
No, they don't.
You
No, they
need
don't.
eggs and you need steaks.
No, they
Steaks
don't.
and eggs are the most
No.
nutrient dense.
Amino acids come from plants. Plants have all the essential amino acids. Vegetables, grains, beans, fruits, they all have the essential nutrients that you need. You don't have to get meat in your diet. I haven't eaten meat in 8 years. I'm perfectly healthy. There's no reason to consume animal products. But again, we're not talking about the health aspect because veganism is not health, it's about ethics. It's about how should we treat others? Should we treat them with kindness or should we slaughter them like maniacs? That's the problem you're not addressing. Why is it ethically okay to slaughter others?
I'm gonna eat my steaks. I'm gonna eat my steaks as much as I want. Because your body needs it.
I understand that. There was a time where I also used to eat steaks. Hold on. I'm asking you what makes you think it's morally acceptable to slaughter others when you don't have to?
Because it's part of life. Animals came so then we could eat. Without animals, we would all die.
No,
you understand that,
we
right?
would be just fine without the animals.
Without their shit, the plants would be dead. You understand that, right? Because it fertilizes the ground.
No, because
all right, bro.
First of all, we can make our own synthetic fertilizer. Which
with all chemicals.
Hold on.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Do you want to debate here or you just want to yell?
I'm debating.
Okay, great. So listen. So the point is that we can be vegan just fine. We don't have to use the animals at all. We live in a society where we can now develop purely plant-based agriculture and we don't have to rely on animals at all.
Okay, then let me ask you a question.
So what makes it justified to slaughter others?
Let me ask. Animals are not other human beings. That's a different story. If you wanted to kill a human and eat, that's carnivore. That's bad. That's horrible.
Okay, so why is it bad to kill humans but okay to kill pigs and cows?
Well, because you need to eat, bro. You need to eat.
We can eat plant-based.
Do you eat Impossible Burgers? Do you eat Impossible Burgers?
Sometimes I do.
If you grab any vegan, any like non-meat...
No, we're not going to do this.
No.
What justifies slaughtering animals?
Because you are killing your body.
What justifies slaughtering animals?
Because it's part of the food chain. You need to live, bro. You need to live.
Okay, so it's part of the food chain, so we get to slaughter others below the food chain, correct?
Oh my God, no.
No? So
no,
what justifies slaughtering innocent animals?
How do you know they're innocent? How do you know the animal?
Because they haven't done anything to you.
Oh,
they're just minding their own business.
To me. But
to anybody, they haven't harmed anybody.
Have you ever heard of shark attacks? I eat shark.
We're not farming sharks.
Alligator attack?
We're not farming alligators. We're not farming sharks. We're farming pigs and cows and chickens who have done nothing to you.
You can also eat alligator. You can eat fish. You can eat seafood.
You can eat people. It doesn't matter. I'm asking you what justifies slaughtering billions of these animals like cows, pigs, and chickens every year.
It is what you need. Is what your body needs to be able to survive and be healthy. Without it,
so what am I missing?
Check your biomarkers.
What nutrient am I missing?
Check your biomarkers. I'm telling you, check your biomarkers.
Can you name the nutrient that I'm missing?
Any amino acids, bro. It's none of them.
They're all found in plants. Every amino acid is found in plants.
Nope.
Oh, what's your evidence that it's not? What's your evidence that plants don't have amino acids?
Which amino? Okay. Anything that comes in, you don't get any protein No protein. That is one thing you need. Biggest
Lentils,
thing.
about
No
a cup of
protein.
lentils has about 15 grams of protein.
Okay, how many carbs and how many fats? How many carbs and how many fats?
I answered your question about proteins. Now you're moving the goalpost.
Oh my God, you're
Plants,
losing and you know it.
plants have fats, proteins, and carbs. Everything
You're
your
what,
body needs. You
you're
don't
what I
have
like
to
to
eat
call
meat.
a mook. You're what I like to call a mook. You need protein. You need protein.
Okay, and protein is found in plants. What's your next
Nope,
problem?
not the same shit, bro. Steaks is more nutrient dense. Eggs are more nutrient dense. They are
No,
literally proven to be the most
do
nutrient dense
steaks
food
have
on the
vitamin
planet.
C or fiber? No. Do they have antioxidants? No.
Also, Harvard
Plants,
just came out with study. A Harvard.
you can be healthy as a vegan, period. You could be healthy as a meat eater, but you can also be healthy as a vegan. You're disregarding that. It's irrelevant whether or not meat contains more protein or less. It doesn't matter. We can be healthy as vegans, and so you're forgetting that. What justifies slaughtering animals? That's unnecessary. I don't think you're connecting with the animal suffering that you're causing. Right? They're not just dumb animals. They're sentient. They're aware, just like children are, just like babies. Right? They don't want to die. So why do you cause them to die?
Because animals are made to be eaten.
Who
Sorry,
said
dude.
that? And who said that?
Literally since the beginning of time, bro. Ever heard the
But
Bible?
why do we have to kill them anymore? We don't have to.
Yes, you do.
Why?
Our
Why?
bodies just don't evolve like that quick, bro. You still need like those amino acids and those essential minerals.
We get them. We get them from
Things-
plants. We get them from
Oh my
plants.
God, no.
We do.
If
Name a
I'm
single
telling you,
nutrient I can't get as a vegan.
I am telling you this. You have been a vegan for how long?
8 years.
Okay, I'll do a little challenge. You eat meat for a good month, carnivore, straight carnivore diet, and I'll eat vegetables, and we'll see who feels better.
What do you mean feels better? I feel
I'm
just
telling you,
fine, sir. I feel fantastic right now. I
you've
don't
been
have to
eating
eat meat.
vegetables and fucking water for 8 years of your life. How the fuck does that make sense?
I don't eat vegetables and I don't just
You
eat
don't eat
vegetables
vegetables, so
and
what do
water.
you
What
eat?
are you
You eat
talking about?
chemicals. You eat chemicals then. You eat chemicals. Because anything I've read every nutrition.
Oh my gosh. The brainwashing. Everything's a chemical. Steak is a chemical. There's pesticides in vaccines and all these things exist in meat you're eating and hormones, right? Everything's chemicals. The point is that you can be healthy eating meat or being a vegan. I'm healthy. You're probably healthy too, but that's irrelevant. We agree that we can be healthy. But what ethically justifies what you're doing to the animals? What justifies slaughtering and abusing the animals when we don't have
You're
to?
really good at rage baiting. You know this? You're very, very good at rage baiting. Very, very good. I've never met. See, I know. You know. Look, you almost did a little grin. You almost did a little grin. I see it. A little rage baiter. You know, and I know, and everyone else knows. Meat is important. You need meat to survive.
Why? Why is
I'm
it
sorry.
important? I can survive just fine without it.
No, you cannot. You're gonna die quicker than anyone that eats meat on a
Demonstrate that. Prove it.
basis. Harvard literally proved the carnivore diet has helped reverse health defects, everything. It helps. Eating meat
It
helps.
helps. It helps. I don't care if it helps. The problem is that you're forgetting the fact that, first of all, you have no evidence of what you're saying. Second of all,
Harvard just came out with it. Harvard just came out with
what's the study? What's it demonstrate? What's the methodology? Right?
This week you can look it up. You can look it up on the. You can literally look it up on Google.
What's the study?
That the carnivore diet.
No. What's the title of the study?
Oh fuck! I don't fucking know. You gotta go look that up, dude. I don't remember.
Well, you don't know it, so this is important to know. You don't know it, but even if you could demonstrate that eating meat is healthier, which is not, we know that red meat causes heart disease. We know that it raises your risk of colon cancer. We know
Nope.
that meat and dairy raises your risk of arthritis and all kinds of diseases.
Yeah,
But
and then
but
eating
that's
what
irrelevant. That's
vegetables and
irrelevant.
lentils
We're not
and
talking about health. We're talking about the animals who you're slaughtering.
do
Why
you
do you do that?
understand? Do you understand when your mom was pregnant with you, she had to have meat in order to survive? So then you could
Where's your
be
evidence of that?
it's known. You're an idiot. It's straight up known. You're a straight
Well,
mook.
there is a study called the Position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, in which they suggest this is a group of nutritionists and doctors who are experts in the field, and they equivocally say that vegan diets are suitable for all stages of life, including pregnant women.
Because it's straight vegetables. What do you expect? It's straight water.
What? No, it's not straight vegetables and water. Do you know that
You know
pizza can be
vegetables and
vegan? You
water.
know there's vegan pizzas?
Yeah, you know it's pumped up with harmful chemicals.
What chemicals?
Go
What are you
read the back
talking
of any
about?
nutritional label that you have in your fucking house. I know damn
Most
well it's pumped up with a
look,
bunch of
look,
chemicals.
a lot of these things you're calling chemicals are benign. They're just salts and
No,
preservatives that don't necessarily kill you.
you're a mook.
That's your best counter? I'm a mook?
No, my counter has been good this whole time. You're just a rage baiter. You know, I ate a whole 10-ounce steak today. And you know what? I feel amazing.
Do you know that
I feel my
dihydrogen
muscles getting filled
monoxide,
with the
do you
protein.
consume dihydrogen monoxide? Is that a bad chemical?
The fuck?
Dihydrogen monoxide, that's a bad chemical, right?
I consume O2, oxygen.
Do you know what dihydrogen monoxide is? That's a bad chemical, right?
Probably. Sounds bad.
It's just water.
Okay.
It's just water.
All right, so you're raging.
See how you can make something sound bad, but it's actually just fucking water, right?
So all the red dyes and all the red 40 blue one, that's good for you.
We're not saying it's good for you, but we're saying it's not going to kill you if you have a Gatorade.
So what's not good for you, it cannot kill you. Does that make sense?
Look,
It
if you
will
want to be
eventually
if you
kill
want to
you.
be Mr. Healthy, just go Whole Foods.
That's
Whole,
exactly
you
what
can
I've been doing.
you can be
But
Whole Food vegan.
what the fuck does that mean? You understand whole food vegan does not even make sense. Whole foods, it requires meat. Are you dumb?
Do you know what a whole food means?
Yes,
It
one
doesn't mean
ingredient. I eat
meat.
whole
It
foods.
doesn't mean meat,
Oh
sir.
my god.
It means the whole thing as it is organically.
Oh my god.
Like beans, like grains and vegetables and fruits. Those are whole foods, not just meat.
I can't, bro. You're actually a clown. Oh my god. You know, there's people like I hate the fact that there's like people like you in the world spreading these false information, because this is the reason why our population is like 50% obese.
Oh yeah, when vegans have the lowest BMIs of all categories of people. When most Americans are obese
You
or
guys are all
overweight and
malnourished.
have
No,
heart disease, but they consume meat and dairy. How does that make sense?
I've known people that have been vegan for years and they were super malnourished. As soon as they changed their diet and had meat and protein
I
and
know
everything,
people who ate meat and were malnourished
how?
because
How?
they were
Because they didn't
lacking
eat enough.
nutrients. You can lack
They didn't
nutrients
eat
in any
enough. They
diet
didn't
if you don't eat enough.
Yeah, if you don't eat enough,
Exactly.
then you gotta
As
eat, bro.
long as you have a healthy diet, you're gonna be fine as a vegan or a meat eater.
Pick up the fork and eat, bro. You're eating vegetables and you eat straight water. That's why you're small.
No, I don't eat
Guarantee you can't
vegetables
even
and
bench a
straight
plate.
water. No, I don't eat that.
My bench PR is more than yours. That's all I know. And you know why? Because I eat meat.
And a lot of bodybuilders have heart attacks early because they eat lots of
Because they're
meat and
on
dairy.
steroids. No, because they're on steroids. You're an idiot.
That too, yes.
Oh, that too. It's because of that.
Well, no, not just that. We know that heart disease is caused by consuming lots of meat and dairy.
Nope.
Yes, we do.
Possible. You know, there's been doctors that
We
only
know
eat
that
meat
about
for their
50
whole
grams
lives.
of red meat per day actually raises your risk of heart disease by about 15 to 20%.
Yeah, exactly. Mike has big muscles. You know why Mike has big muscles? Because he eats meat.
Nope, I haven't eaten meat in 8 years, and I'm
You're
perfectly
not
healthy
right.
and fine.
Oh, Mike Bergani. No, I'm talking about Mike Trent. You're an idiot. You're a mook. Your ideas are false. And yeah. So all right, Rage Bader. All right, go fuck yourself.
Wow, he really got us, folks. He really showed us what a meathead he was. All right, let's get the next guy. Hello?
How's it going, brother?
Hey, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to come on here and just let you know, bro, Jesus loves you so much, man. I know you don't believe. I know you don't believe in anything like that, but I just want you to know he's trying to reveal himself even through me right now. He can speak through us. And I'm a Christian, and I just want you to know he loves you so much, man, and he wants a relationship with you genuinely. I just encourage you to continue to seek the
But
Gospels and seek him
why?
with your
Why
full.
does he want a relationship with me? Does he find me attractive?
No, not a sexual relationship, a father and son like relationship.
A
He
father and
came.
son relationship, but I already have a father. I don't need a second one.
Nah, bro, like a father, because he created us, man. Like we're all children of God.
I understand. I understand your intentions. You're trying to be kind and trying to say, look, God is looking out for you. But the problem is, you have no reason to think that. You have no good reason to believe that that's true, right?
I
And
do,
so,
I do though. Like the Gospels were like eyewitness accounts of Jesus Christ. Like these are historical documents, and there's actually I really encourage you. I don't know if you've heard of Lee Strobel. He was actually an atheist that actually
he's a
sought out to
charlatan. He's a charlatan. That's what he
to
is.
to disprove Christianity, and he actually found it, through the historical evidence. There's a lot of actual historical evidence that I continue. I'd ask you to just continue to
So how
seek
do
with
you?
your full
Okay,
heart,
so hold on. How do you know that the Gospels were eyewitness testimonies?
because they were written by them.
No, I asked you. How do you know they're eyewitness testimonies? Not that they were written. I know they're written.
Well, because they claim to be eyewitness testimonies.
Oh, really? So if I just simply write in a piece of paper, I saw Bigfoot, that means I saw Bigfoot?
Well, you have to obviously acknowledge the other eyewitness accounts as well. Like it was multiple as well.
Okay,
Not
so
just
10
not
so
just
10
one.
people get together and they write in a story they saw Bigfoot and aliens having sex. That means it happened?
Not necessarily, no. But then you
Okay,
gotta
so just because people write it down doesn't mean they're eyewitness accounts.
right. But then you have to understand that there's other like archaeological artifacts and stuff like that. And honestly, bro, I'm not here to debate. I would just
What are the archaeological facts? Let's go through this. Let's test your faith.
no. I'm not
What
here to
are the
debate.
archaeological artifacts?
I'm not here to debate, brother. I'm just here to because God sent me, brother, and He just wants to know. He's trying to reveal Himself to you. That's my only goal. I'm not here to debate. I respect what you're doing, bro. I would just encourage you to really look into it and look with it. He'll reveal himself, not even like, okay, there's obviously that type of evidence, physical evidence, but I'm saying the evidence of him revealing himself is so much more powerful, and your own
Look,
testimony is so much more powerful.
look. I've been a Christian for 20 years, probably longer than you've been alive. Right? I understand the Christian view and perspective. I understand you want me to come back to Jesus and believe, but the problem is, a rational person like me is not going to accept blind faith. We're going to accept evidence. And so you're never going to really convince me by saying Jesus loves you, because to me,
Yeah,
that sounds silly. To
no,
think that
and
some
I'm
magic being needs my love somehow and wants my love somehow when it doesn't even know I exist. I don't even know it exists, yet it wants to love me. This sounds
I
creepy.
no, I get that, brother. I totally understand, man. I used to be really skeptical as well, and then I had a miraculous
So then
encounter
give
with
good
Jesus
reasons. So then
Christ.
give good reasons.
My own person, I told you there's obviously historical evidence, but if we don't want to accept that, then that's fine. But
Then go?
my
Let's
own
go through it. Let's go
testimony,
through it. What is the evidence? Let's go through
my,
it.
my own testimony, brother. Like me, my family, we have it in miraculous encounters with Jesus. And if you want to say, that's fake and we were schizophrenic, like that's fine, brother. But I saw with my
No,
own
I don't.
eyes.
I don't want to dismiss you, but I just want to hear your evidence.
Right.
Let's hear it. If you want to give it, go ahead. Let's hear your testimony.
I had a miraculous encounter with Christ Jesus, and I had a vision where I experienced going to hell. I experienced a separation from the Lord, and it was unlike any other thing I can imagine, because we learned that God is love, and so when we're separated from God,
But okay,
we're separated from love.
just tell me your was it a dream you had, or is it a
No, it was a legit vision. I was awake. I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't asleep.
were you
It
on
was a
your bed?
miraculous. It was a miraculous vision. No,
Were
I was
you on a
not.
bed or
No, no, I wasn't.
okay, so
I wasn't.
you're wide awake walking around and then suddenly you think
Yeah,
of
I had
what?
this feeling. I had this feeling like I started panicking. I had this feeling like I was dying almost. Like I had a panic attack. I never had a panic attack or anything, but
That was a
my
panic attack, sir. That was most likely a panic attack. Many people
sure,
get them.
sure, but I promise you, I'm not getting like mass hallucinations with my eyes through a panic. You know?
Well, first of all, 10% of people have been polled and asked, do you hallucinate? And 10% of people say they hallucinate. And that's 10% of 8 billion people. That's 800 million people who hallucinate regularly. So
That's fine, brother.
It's not that uncommon for people to hallucinate or have anxiety. And so, especially in your case, it could have been the combination of the two. It
That's
could have been
fine, brother.
anxiety itself
Yeah,
that
no,
caused you to think that something bad was going to happen.
that's fine, brother. But anyways, I had two angels basically pull me out of the pits of hell, and then I encountered God in a beam of light, like a silhouette of light. And he didn't turn around, and I said, "Why can't I see your face?" And he said, You're not allowed to see my face yet." I said, "Why not?" He's like, "Because I have plenty of more things for you to do on earth before you see my face." Then I was shot back down into my body, and I realized what had just happened, and I was just in such awe.
And all
I
this
ended up,
happened when you're wide awake?
yes, sir, yep. And then I ended up and then I had this feeling that I was about to vomit, and I ended up going to the bathroom, and I vomited so much, and then the Lord was telling me I was being born again in that moment. I was throwing up my old flesh, and I was becoming born
All
again
right,
as the
that's
Christian.
enough details. But it sounds very similar to an anxiety attack.
That's fine, but God can.
And
That's what I'm saying. This is how God revealed
this is
Himself.
literally what happens. You have that feeling, because I have a brother who has anxiety attacks, and he feels the same way. He feels like something really bad's gonna happen, or else, in fact, he was like, "We got to go to the hospital. This is terrible, right?" And this sounds very similar, where you have hallucinations, where something bad's happening, and you have to get out of it, right? And that's why that's perhaps what happened in that case. And vomiting is another sign that you were going through anxiety. Nausea can be caused by anxiety.
I know, but I heard a voice saying you are now being born again. To take up your cross and follow me. Like this was Jesus. I had nothing.
You can hear voices during hallucinations. It's very common to hear voices.
Right, but it matched perfectly with Scripture, and I promise you, I have not even opened the Bible my entire life. I promise you on that. I have not even opened my Bible.
First of all,
God revealed Himself, and it matched exactly with Scripture. What do you mean, take up your cross and follow me? I didn't know what that meant. And I started reading the Scriptures. That's what Jesus preached to everyone,
but
to
you
take up your cross
grew
and follow
up in a scenario where people around you believed and were telling you things about Christ and Jesus and God.
No. My family is not religious.
So hold on. So
all I knew is when I die, I go to heaven.
Hold on. So you never heard of Christianity before this experience?
All I knew was Jesus died for you, and that's it. I promise you.
Okay. So you did know about Jesus before all this.
Yeah, but I didn't know
so
not specific things like take up your cross and follow me.
Knowing about these stories,
we can know about Jesus, but not know who He is. We can know of Jesus, but not know who He is. And a lot of people know of Jesus, but they don't know who He is.
Sir, please, you're forgetting the fact that the human brain is a very complicated thing. And when you have you can dream such abstract ideas, things you haven't seen before, right? Because the brain does some very crazy things on the subconscious level. I don't know what that noise is. I can't stand it. But that was very likely in a very almost perfect alignment with what a hallucination is and an anxiety attack. Okay? And the fact that your brain produced that kind of thing is probably also a cause of the fact that you understood the story of Jesus before this. And you probably had that initial fear about God, about going to hell. So these are all factors that might play into this. Now, I don't want to dismiss this as well. I don't just want to say, no, this can't be God. What I'm suggesting is that maybe this is something else that you're disregarding. That's the problem here. Because at the end of the day, we don't know how to falsify this thing. There's no way to do it. We don't know what you actually saw. It could have just been a dream. And so how do we know? We can't know the answer. And so for you to come to the conclusion that it must have been God is the wrong approach. Because it could have just as easily been something you can't explain, but just natural, just a natural hallucination, where many people get them. Many people get anxiety attacks. So this is what you're disregarding, and why an experience like yours, although I'm sure it happened, I agree, I believe you, but the nature of the experience doesn't necessarily have to be divine. It could be just natural, something your brain produced. That's the thing I want to get to you.
That's fine, brother, but I promise you, after I was born again, I started to read the scriptures and everything had aligned to where what he was talking about, like my heart didn't crave worldly things anymore. I started turning to Jesus. Then he also started speaking to me in other ways, in ways that I can't even describe, where he's told me to go up and pray for someone's leg, and I go up and prayed for their leg and it was healed. Things that I had no idea. I went up to them and
Okay.
it's like, hey, brother, is there something wrong with your leg? He's like, yeah, how'd you know? The Holy Spirit told me. And I prayed for his leg and it was miraculously healed by the power of Jesus
let's
Christ.
talk about the leg thing. So how was the leg healed? What was wrong with the leg, and how was it healed?
He had pain in his leg, in his knees to be specific. In his knee, he had pain in his knees. And he said there's something wrong. And the Holy Spirit, I was walking in public. I was living in Naples, Florida on this busy street. And there was just people going in and out of nowhere, almost like spidey senses, But the Holy Spirit told me, "Hey, there's someone. This guy's leg. There's something wrong with his leg." Never came across this man and went to him. I was like, "Hey, brother, can I pray for your leg?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "The Holy Spirit, the Lord told me that there's something wrong with your leg." He's like, "Yeah, how'd you know that? I've been in pain, for months." So God told me, "Brother, can I pray for you?" I prayed for him. I was like, "Do you feel any more pain anymore?" He's like, "No, dude. What in the world?" He was amazed. He was astonished. So I prayed
The
for
knee
him.
especially is the knee especially is an area where one of the bones could be off a little bit, and then just very quickly it can go back to normal and the pain goes away on its own. Right?
Dude,
This is one of the prime examples of that kind of situation where
I
pain
see that
happens and then
I
you
see
move
you're
it
a
and then it's
hyper
fine
skeptic,
again.
man. I see that you're a hyper skeptic, and I
No,
understand that you're
I'm not hyper
skeptical.
skeptic. No. I'm not hyper skeptic. I'm realistic about this. What's more probable, that this person didn't really have a severe condition, they just had a little pain that went away right after because they moved it, or somehow the God of the universe cares about this kid in Naples, Florida, his little knee pain, but disregards all the children in Gaza, disregards all the other people without legs, disregards all the amputee victims, disregards all the people who don't have fucking hearts and lungs and need these transplants. It doesn't fucking care to help them, right? What's more likely, that the God of the universe cares about one little guy's knee pain, or it's not real, or he's not actually there, and it's just confirmation bias? You looking at certain instances and going, see, that aligns with God. See, his pain was gone. That's God. See, the tree bark said my initials. That's God. It's a sign from God. Look, in my toast, I see the image of a cross. That's God. He's communicating, right? That's confirmation bias. It's very common in religious folks and in humans in general. We are superstitious. That's how we are. And so we have to be extra cautious before we resort to these kinds of things as being evidence of God.
I appreciate you for unmuting me, brother. Last thing, dude. I see you and I understand that things can seem unnatural because that's how the Lord works, right? When the God inserts himself into the natural law, that is what we define as a miracle. And God does that all the time. You know, millions and millions of people have testimonies, right? And yeah, I guess you can use some type of scientific excuse for every single one. But at the end of the day,
Not an
brother,
excuse. It's not an excuse. It's an
it's going to
explanation.
take, right. But that's why it requires faith, man. And I just pray that you have
It
faith
doesn't
in your
require
heart.
faith. It doesn't require faith because just
It
as you
does,
have
though.
faith in God, I can have faith that God didn't do that, didn't fix his leg. Now,
Right. And
which one of
I
us is
think,
right?
yeah, I think atheism requires much more faith than the logistics of Jesus Christ being a real person and roaming the earth and all that kind of stuff. So I agree, you have faith, 110%. You probably have more faith than me,
What do I have
because you're,
faith in? What do I have faith in?
well, if you don't believe in a God, you have to have a lot of blind faith to believe that there is no God, 110%.
Why? Why do I have to have faith? First of all, I'm not making necessarily an absolute statement that God can't exist or is impossible.
Well,
What
you
I'm
said God
suggesting is
is
that it's highly
imaginary.
unlikely. It's highly unlikely for it to exist based on the lack of evidence, but also based on logical problems with God. The
There
problem of
is
evil,
evidence, though.
divine
You just don't
immanency.
want to accept it, though. That's what I'm trying to say, brother.
But
And
every
so,
time, but what you think is evidence seems to be just conjecture or
right, just
hypotheses
coincidence, right,
about
just
somebody's knee
coincidence. You
pain.
still have to have faith, though, brother. That's what I'm trying to say. And I just beg and plead with you that you have faith
I
in your
don't need
heart.
to have faith in anything because
And that's your free will, man. And, you know, I just came on here because God told me to come on here and just tell this to you. And if you don't want to accept it, that's
it's
fine, brother.
did
He's just
God
trying to
come up?
reveal
Did God
himself,
tell
and
you to
he
do
loves
this?
you.
Shh.
Yes, he
Did
did.
God tell you to do this, or did your own self tell you to do this? Your inner voice that had the feeling that you should come up here and say the things you have to say because you feel deep down that you want to spread the gospel, and I understand that. And you think right now you're spreading the gospel to people, you're making people hear Jesus. But the problem is that no one's going to be convinced if you're not considering any evidence. If you don't bring any data to the table and you just bring experiences that could be easily explained through science, who the heck's going to believe you except for crazy people who just, oh yeah, Bigfoot, aliens. You're not going to convince rational people about God if your best evidence is somebody's knee felt better. Like, that's not going to convince anybody, right? We need more than that. So I'll give you one more chance to bring up some better evidence.
I actually got to head out, brother, but I greatly appreciate you listening. I just pray that you're more open minded before I head out. Do you mind if I pray for you real quick?
Okay.
Is that okay, brother? Like, yes or no? I don't want to be.
Yeah,
If you don't want me to, that's your free will. I was just offering. Can I pray for
well,
you?
I don't believe in free will. So stop. I don't think free will exists.
That's fine, brother. Can I pray for you real quick before I head out? Sorry, I gotta go.
Okay, go ahead. You can pray.
All right. Lord, I just thank you so much for bringing me on the stream. I pray that Mike just has an open mind and that you just continue to reveal yourself and just reveal yourself in dreams and visions and anything miraculous, God, and continue to reveal himself. And I pray that Mike is just open minded to seeing the gospel and what you did for him, and that, you know, everyone watching the stream, that everyone knows that Jesus died for you and he loves you and he wants a relationship with you.
He died for
The weekend? I just pray for
How long
everyone.
did he die for? For a
And
weekend?
just thank you so much, God, for bringing me on here, and those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, that I pray they just feel convicted in their heart, and that I turn from sin and focus on you, God. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Thank you so much, man, for letting me pray for everyone. God bless you, brother. Have a blessed day, man.
You said he died for a weekend? Look, I understand that his intentions were nice. He was trying to be nice in a way. But ultimately, he didn't bring any data to the table. He didn't bring any irrational argumentation. He didn't bring anything that we can say, yes, this points to God, except for his own confirmation bias. And look how susceptible we are to this as people. This is why we have to be extra cautious before we let our experiences guide us and not the data. And I hope that's all I hope. It's not bad to believe. It's just we should be careful before we believe in things that might not be true.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
good. How are you doing?
Good.
Um, not that I want to talk about this any further, but in regard to the last guest, I think the only problem I have with that is I think that people commit atrocities in the name of faith, and I think when you don't have any sort of logical argumentation for why you believe what you believe, then you essentially justify sin or justify yourself being of sin, and continue to commit sin.
All right.
You know.
I don't believe in sin, so stop saying sin. It's nonsense. Do you have
Well,
a counter argument for any of these things or no?
yeah. Well, by sin, just I meant subjective morality being carrying out ill will. So that's what sin
Like
is.
being wrong. Okay.
Well, you obviously believe in a standard of good and bad, correct? Subjectively,
Yeah.
exactly. So that sin would be the bad part of that. Very simple.
Why must I accept your version of bad when I don't agree necessarily? But
You just agreed.
what's your counterpoint to these ideas here?
Okay, you just agreed. I wanted to talk about veganism. I did a year and a half kind of a plant-based diet, just because biochemically that's what led me to veganism in the first place. But I think you previously were presenting a sort of a morality argument. I don't see any reason to distinguish between a tree and a cow. You bring up this topic of sentience. I don't think you could actually describe. I mean, what do you think sentience is? When does that start? What is that? Just mathematically speaking.
Sentience is the ability to emote and feel and experience. Cows have that, trees don't.
Well, how so? So how do you distinguish that cows have that but trees don't?
Because cows have brains, they have nervous systems. Trees don't.
Okay, so just because there's electrical impulses sent through a particular organ, that's what gives one sentience? Because trees obviously move and they emote, obviously, just at a slower pace.
Trees don't have emotions. Trees don't have brains. And in order to have emotions, you need a brain. Trees don't have any of that.
How do you say that? So like a tree, if you like covered up a branch and didn't permit it to have light, it'll go around that cover and seek light. So wouldn't that be displaying some sort of emotion? It wants the light.
No, that's your personification of it. In reality,
well, then that's your personification.
Hold on.
What? I mean, you're not making any sense.
The tree is just biochemically responding to that dehydration, because plants have built-in mechanisms where they move water throughout their body.
That wasn't
but that has nothing to do with emotion that animals feel. Animals have a central nervous system,
which is responding to what?
Hold on. With brains that experience the world in a way that trees just can't. It's not possible.
Well,
trees don't have neurons. Trees don't have any of the sort, right?
Nonsense.
And so it's obvious that trees don't have experience, but animals do.
How is that? You keep pointing to. You said a tree is just responding simply to its environment. Do you know what a central nervous system does? How do you think?
It doesn't just respond. It synthesizes processes. It synthesizes.
Synthesizing would be responding, correct? Part of responding.
No. It generates.
Really?
It generates.
Do you know the definition of synthesize?
Hold on.
It requires an input.
Yes, there's an input and output. But the point is that the process by which we experience.
Okay, so
stop and you're not listening. The way in which humans and animals experience the world is far more complicated and intricate than a tree. A tree can't experience anything because it's just a tree. It has no brain. It has no nervous system. But animals do have a nervous system by which they can not just respond merely to certain reactions and certain stimuli. It's not just merely a response, right? It's also a generation of an experience that the brain processes. The brain has to process it. And so trees
You
don't
understand
have a
you're making
brain
no
to
sense.
process any emotion, any feeling, any pain, nothing.
So this is a circular argument. You're saying that by having a brain, you're able to experience emotions, and your
Yes.
justification of emotions existing is because you have a brain.
Yes, we know that emotions come from
So
the
it's a
brain.
circular,
The
it's a
amygdala,
non-argument.
the somatosensory cortex, the
So
hippocampus. These are
I
parts of the
don't,
brain that are responsible for emotions and processing those emotions.
I don't think you understand your own irrationality here, but you're justifying you're distinguishing the difference between a tree. Why we should place more value on a cow than a tree is because one has a particular organ that the other doesn't. Is that correct?
It's not just an organ that we have, right? It's a whole set of organs that are responsible for a entirely unique set of experiences that trees can't have. But
And
secondly,
how do you
what's
know
even more
that
important than
trees
this
can't?
is that even if trees did experience something, let's say trees were sentient, it's still better off to be vegan because vegans kill less trees. We
Well,
harm
actually, no.
less animals, we harm less trees, we harm less plants. And so the idea that, trees, they might feel pain, that's completely irrelevant. It's actually a point in my favor. Because, yes, that would
Okay,
argue
so
in my
you
favor that we should be vegan for the trees and the animals.
okay, yeah. So you've conceded the first point that sentience is a non-argument. You
No, I did not
pointed.
concede a damn thing, and don't tell me I conceded something that I didn't
Okay.
tell you I did.
Well,
No,
so what
you're
you
not
just
gonna.
said, your
No,
second
no, you're
argument.
not gonna do this. I don't agree with you that trees are sentient. That's nonsense, and there's tons of research against what you're saying. But more importantly, your argument is completely moot, even if it has basis. It doesn't. It's garbage.
Wait, so let's move to the second point then. I would actually argue you're killing so many more species, both plants and animals, to be vegan. It's not even close. This is like the most obvious argument, and I can make it very simple for you. If we live on an island, and we want to survive, say that's a subtropical island. I mean, we could use, it doesn't have to be necessarily subtropical or what, but in order to survive as a vegan, you need seeds, mainly. Lentils are, what are the legumes? You need legumes essentially to survive on a vegan diet. You would have to wipe out the entire island to provide for yourself. You would kill, thousands of animals depending on how big the island, if not millions. It's not even like to think that veganism is somehow not.
Okay,
You
okay.
kill. Wait,
Hold
you
on.
do. Hold on.
Let's take your example. I'm on an island. Shh. Stop unmuting and be quiet and listen. Your argument is that if you were on an island, a vegan would have to grow all these crops. Well, if we had an animal on the island, what is the fucking animal gonna eat? What's the animal gonna eat?
Exactly.
Did you know that 90% of soybeans are grown not for humans but for cows? Did you know that most of the crops you grow are fed to the animals that you slaughter and abuse? So your second argument is also garbage. It doesn't
Wait.
work. Try again.
This is so illogical. Like, okay, let me make this very simple for you. If you either had to hunt game or grow plants to survive off of, one is efficient, one absolutely sustains the island. One, you have to kill vegetation and thus kill animals to provide for the plants that you need to survive. What you're not understanding is, biochemically speaking, we either eat meat or we eat lentils. We eat legumes and seeds.
No, that's nonsense. You can eat other
really?
things as a vegan. Stop. This is complete nonsense. First of all, you don't have to just eat beans. Stop. Shh. You don't have to just eat beans. That's garbage. More importantly, your hypothetical is not in reality. In reality, we are slaughtering billions of animals in factories that we have to grow and breed these animals inside of. And so it's not comparable to hunting. We're not hunting these animals. We are breeding them into existence by the billions every year, and then we slaughter them for no good reason. That's the thing. That's the difference. The reality is, what you are doing to the animals is completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary, what you're doing to the animals.
I still
Whereas,
don't think you get the mathematics. No offense. You keep muting me, but you still don't understand. In order, again, on this island, we either hunt animals or we breed them themselves in small captivity, which is slightly cruel, but wiping out the entire island is indefinitely not allowing any animals to live there. Do you not get
what
that
are you talking about? Not
pasture
allowing
of
anybody animals to
floatings?
live there. What are you talking about? If we were on an island and had to support people, we would both die because there wouldn't be enough food to support us if it was just a couple animals or just some plants. Your hypothetical is nonsense. In reality, we have a whole world, a whole planet that we are utilizing, and most of what we're utilizing
It's
is
just
for the
microcosmic.
animals. Most of the resources we are producing are for the animals, and so that's why being vegan drastically reduces the amount of plants and trees that we're killing and animals that we're killing. Do you not see that?
Oh my God. For the United States to go vegan, we have to wipe out thousands of more acres. What are you talking about?
Okay, you want the
That
you want
indefinitely kills off species.
go
You
look
still
up
don't
this
get it.
study.
You're
Go look
killing
up this
off.
study, Reducing Food's Environmental Impacts Through Producers and Consumers. This study demonstrates that 70% of all the land we use goes to animal agriculture, and if we were all to go vegan, we would save about 75% of land on the earth. You want that another source?
Yeah, I would love that source and how that would somehow suffice to our dietary needs.
It
Yeah, I
all
would love
it,
that
it, it
source.
all goes per if we were looking at calories, we would suffice caloric
I'm not
wise
talking about
just
calories.
fine and use 70% less
It has
land.
nothing to do with calories. It has not. It's all micro and macronutrients. What are you talking about?
It does.
It's not
The
just
point is that we
calories.
would have macronutrients just fine on a vegan diet and still
How
use way
so?
less land.
How so? So where are we getting
What do you mean
iodine?
how
Where are we getting
so?
calcium?
By
Where are we
not
getting calcium
producing all
from?
these animals.
But hold on, you've thought through this so much. Where are we getting calcium from? How are we getting calcium?
Plants have
Oh,
calcium.
what plants are we eating for calcium? Leafy greens? High
Yes,
in oxalic acid. Do you know
greens
what
and
oxalic acid
beans.
is? Do you know what oxalic acid
Oh
is?
my gosh. Oh
Do you
my
know what
gosh.
oxalic acid is?
Stop. Shh. You're not gonna come up. Shh. You're not gonna
Biochemistry.
come up here and argue that eating greens is unhealthy unless you have evidence. I'm not gonna take your word for it. So bring the data that eating vegetables is unhealthy somehow. This is fucking insane.
You just straw man me. I answered your question.
Give an argument that eating greens is unhealthy.
I never said that. I asked where
Okay,
we would get
great. So then it's
calcium
healthy.
from.
So then, do you agree that it's healthy to
You
eat
still don't
to be
get it.
vegan?
Oh my God, you still don't get it. I asked where we would get certain types or certain components of our RDA from. I asked where we would get calcium from.
Greens,
You said
beans,
plants.
grains, and fruits. They all have calcium. What's your next
Fruits?
question?
Fruits. Wait. We need a set amount of calcium. We need,
Sir, do
what
you
is
know
our
that
RDA
oranges have
calcium?
calcium?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Do you know
great.
how
So we
much?
could eat oranges for
Do you know how many
calcium. Do you know
oranges? Do you know how
that
many oranges
spinach?
you
Do you
need?
know that
Do you know
greens
how
have
many?
calcium?
Oh
Do
my
you know that
God.
beans have
Do you know how
calcium?
many oranges you need for like a proper daily intake of calcium? Like
Yes, I
10
know how
or
much you need to
11?
eat, and I get my calcium just fine as a vegan.
I don't think you do. I mean, to be honest,
Oh my
your brain
gosh.
power is not.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Thank you.
Stop. Getting calcium is just as easy as fuck. You just eat what you have to get your calcium as a vegan.
Everyone,
Everything, fruits, vegetables, beans, they all have calcium. Nuts and seeds, they all have calcium. What makes it okay to justify slaughtering animals when you don't have to? Answer that for us.
well, so if you're dying, should you be able to
Oh my
preserve
gosh.
your life?
Oh
You
my
still don't get.
gosh.
You don't.
Nobody is dying. You can be
So
healthy as a
if you're not malnutrition,
nobody is experiencing malnutrition on a healthy diet. Stop. Of
where do we
course,
get?
you have to be healthy as a vegan. And that's why we are being healthy as vegans. We're eating what we have to be healthy. Now, do you agree that that's better, morally speaking, to be vegan versus slaughtering innocent beings? Do you agree?
Say that one more time.
Considering that vegans can be healthy, do you agree that
They
it's
can't.
morally better? Shh. Do you agree that it's
It's
morally
insufficient.
better? Okay, so can you give me a source that says vegans can't be healthy?
Well, it's just basic. Where are you getting your omega 3?
No,
Where are you
no,
getting
I don't
DHA?
want basic. I want a source or go away. Give me a source that demonstrates
You're just appealing
vegans.
to authority.
That's not an appeal to. I,
See?
yeah, if you think asking for evidence is appealing to authority, you can't debate me. You don't know how to debate somebody. There are no insufficiencies if you're eating a healthy vegan diet. It doesn't exist. Calcium is in beans, it's in tofu, it's in oranges, it's in fruits, it's in vegetables. You don't have to get it from meat or dairy, right? And so considering the fact that vegans can be healthy, it's morally better to be vegan versus slaughtering and abusing others. And that's the thing that nobody wants to talk about. They just want it to, oh, I'm healthier. I can lift weights as a carnivore. But they don't want to talk about the fact that you can be healthy as a vegan. They just want to disregard that and don't bring the data to back it up.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing today?
Great.
Well, I had my own opinion about the whole vegan thing, and the other parts, but the vegan part, I just remember in school that they told us we are originally like omnivores, aren't we?
Whether we're omnivores, herbivores, poopivores, your momivores, it doesn't matter. We don't have to consume meat anymore. We don't have to consume meat or dairy at all. It's not necessary.
Yeah. But I just think, due to a person's beliefs, they should be able to eat what they want. It kind of it creates like a balance within the universe, so there's not too many people eating one certain thing. Because if everybody was a vegan, it'd be a lot harder to everybody, and it could probably cause something kind of like the Dust Bowl again, with us planting so much and messing
Well,
with the
that's
soil
funny
and
you say
everything.
that, man, because in fact, most of the crops and land we use around the world goes to the animals that you abuse and slaughter. So the animals that you grape and slaughter are being fed all these crops. And that's why the land that we are using, most of it goes to them. And so by being vegan, we would actually use less land and save the planet in a way better way.
Well, how would we be able to feed everybody on the planet with just eating the fruits and vegetables from the earth?
We already do that. You see, we already grow enough crops to feed the entire world. But it's just that most of the crops go to the animals. So if we went vegan, we would actually have more food to feed people. We would actually solve world hunger if we all went vegan, because we would have a surplus of food.
I don't know. Like while you were talking earlier, it just like I remember back in the days there were hunters and gatherers, like, and that's just how they had to survive back then. I'm not saying now today is like exactly the same, but that's where we contributed as humans. Where it came from is for them to survive. You know, they had to have enough to
Right,
feed
but
everybody.
we are no longer Tarzan, right? We're no longer Ooga Boogas. We can go into the world and go into a store and we can buy what we want to eat. And so that's why we don't have to be Ooga Boogas anymore.
Ooga boogas is funny. Okay. Well, I don't care what people eat. Like, if they want to be vegan, they can eat vegan. I eat whatever I can eat. But I do remember, like, we're supposed to have, like, a balanced diet, aren't we? like the food
Yes,
pyramid.
we are. Vegan diets are very balanced.
And I guess y'all can get y'all's protein from y'all's beans there and everything. So
Protein is found in many different things. All plants have protein. Vegetables, fruits, beans, nuts, seeds, grains, all have protein.
so regardless of what y'all do, if y'all want to eat y'all want to be a vegan, I don't care. It doesn't affect me.
I know you don't care, but I'm asking you, what is morally better? To slaughter animals or to just be vegan?
I think it just depends on the person's beliefs, because you have your tree huggers and everything, and people. I don't mean that in a bad term. Sorry if that was, but like the ones who believe to take care of the trees and that they have feelings and they can feel just as much as we do. Like there's people who believe that.
I know, but do you think that it's better to abuse animals or to just not abuse animals?
I don't mind getting the milk and stuff from them. It is kind of sad having to kill them and stuff. That's why I'm happy I don't
That's
have
what I'm
to.
saying. And so that's what I'm saying, right? Your actions have consequences. And by buying meat at the store, you might just think it's nothing. But in reality, lots of animals are dying and suffering for you, for your meat. And that's why there's a moral issue with consuming animal products.
Yeah. And for the trans woman thing, my opinion was mentally, psychologically, they are women, but physically, no. I understand the whole concept because I kind of learned more into it. There's some type of I guess during childbirth, their brain is developed in a certain way where it's almost like a woman's brain, but their body is the complete opposite. So yes, their brain tells them they're a woman, but physically, they're never able to be 100% a woman.
Well,
But they
yeah,
can
because
transform.
there's no such thing as a biological or physical woman. That doesn't make any sense, right? Because a woman has to do with your brain, with your neurobiology, not with your reproductive system, your genitals. So yes, they're not trans women are not necessarily females, but they are women because a woman is separate from sex.
I thought the whole sex part was the chromosomes and everything were a little bit important whenever it came to
Yes, that's
if you're
sex.
male or
Sex has to
female.
do with chromosomes and that stuff, but not gender. Gender is different.
Do you think later in the future they're gonna make it where trans people can have children? Trans
They
women
already
can actually
can.
give birth, or what?
They already can. Trans people can already have
With their
children.
bodies?
Yes.
Like
Trans
a man transforming
trans
into a woman.
people, transgender people, cisgender people, they all can have children. Many of them can have children right now.
I've seen where it was a woman turning into a man and she got pregnant, but I've never seen the man turning into a
There's no
woman.
such thing as a woman turning into a man or a man turning into a woman. That's not what it means to be transgender. All it means to be transgender is that you don't identify with the identity that people get to tell you when you're born. That's all it means. It doesn't mean you're changing or transforming.
It's just this is a new thing to society, I guess, so it's kind of confusing to a lot of people. The ones who
It's not
are
well,
part of
it's only confusing because people don't understand. They don't take the time to learn it. It's not that confusing. It's just that people are it seems so foreign because they're not willing to listen and learn about this. They just want to dismiss it. That's the problem. The problem is not that it's confusing. It's very easy.
I've heard about it, but it's still I don't know. It's very confusing to me, the whole thing, and I don't know. And then it's hard not to offend people in this world nowadays, because they're.
All right, let's get to the next victim. Guest.
How are trans women women?
Do you know what a transgender person means?
To be completely honest, I don't. A male is a man and a female is a woman. When have we ever used those terms for anything else? That's
So, okay, great. So let me educate you on this. So I'll be happy to educate you on this. Sex and gender are different things. So I agree. There's male and female.
What is the
Those are
point of separating the two?
Hold on. Just listen for a second. I'm trying to help you. I agree that there's male and female. That's sex. But there's also something called gender identities, in which people, regardless of their genitals, they have a certain identity about being a man or about a woman. They fit within society in a certain way. And that has to do with the brain and how we identify. So it has nothing to do with your genitals about being a man or woman. I'm not a man because of my penis. I'm a man because of how I identify, how I think, my idiosyncrasies, my social aspects, my psychological aspects that make me a man. And so that's why we have to make sense of this gender-sex distinction. And that's why trans women are women, because they fit that woman identity. It has nothing to do with their genitals, it has to do with their identities.
So what forms your identity? Just what you feel?
That's a complicated question. It's neurobiological. There's a neurobiological basis for identity. It has to do with a certain somatosensory cortex, the hippocampus, the hypothalamus. These are the parts of the brain that generate our self-perception, our self-reference, our self-awareness about ourselves.
In your head, you form your identity. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay, so in your head, if you form your identity as a dog, then you're a dog.
There's no such thing as identifying as a dog because we don't have dog brains.
But if you identify as a dog, then why is that not?
You can't identify as a dog. You're confusing labeling for identification.
It's in your head. So if you identify as whatever you think in your head, then why can't you? That doesn't even make any sense.
Because your identification's indexed to your species. You can't identify as a dog because we don't have dog brains. In fact, dogs don't have the same capabilities of identity as humans do. So you can't possibly identify as a dog. It's not possible. We don't have their brain.
Okay,
but human brains.
But it's the same thing. We identify as what sex we are. If you are a male, then you identify as a man. If you are a female,
not necessarily. Not necessarily. That's not
That's
necessarily
literally that's how we identify what our gender is.
You're confusing identity, a mere labeling, a mere label that you're a man versus the actual psychological identity. That is integrated into our neural circuitry. That is not just a mere label. Right? It's not that a trans woman just merely labels themselves as a woman. No, they really have an identity. And that identity can be captured by what a woman means. But the point is that I'm not just labeling myself a man because I feel like it. No, it's a real identity I have in my brain. I can't shake that. And the same with trans women. They have that identity when they're born. They have a particular brain phenotype that cannot be changed. And that's why trans women were born women and they will always be women.
So a trans woman identifying as a woman because that's what they identify themselves as in their head, that makes them a woman?
Correct, because all women
they can defy
gender identity.
So essentially you're saying that you can defy gender and sex, but you can't defy species. But if it's all in your head, what does it matter?
I don't know what it means to defy sex, but yes, we have particular
You're
genders.
saying male and female is sex.
I'm sorry?
You're saying male and female, that has to do with sex and chromosomes. But you're saying separate from gender, but so is species. Species is separate from gender and sex. They're all separate.
You can't identify as another species. We don't have another species brain.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like if science is like, well, these two things, have nothing to do with each other, so then technically you can identify. Well, it's like, at what point does it stop? Those things were separated all of time.
I think you're misunderstanding here. I think you're misunderstanding here. Look, are you a man? Do you identify as a man?
Absolutely.
Okay, why? Why do you identify as a man? Well, it's
because I have a dick.
Because you have no, because you have if I removed your penis, would you still be a man? Yes.
That's not. I don't,
So men who go through
no one's
penile
gonna
surgery.
remove my penis. So
Hold
how
on,
am I still
hold
a
on,
man?
hold on. Men who go through penile surgery, they get it removed, they turn into women suddenly?
I think that if you have a penis, right, and someone removes your penis, now you're a man with no penis.
Correct. And that's why your genitals is
So
irrelevant
that
to your
doesn't make you a
gender.
woman. That just makes you a penisless man.
Correct. And that's why gender is distinct from your genitals. It's not based on your genitals, because if whether or not I have this penis, it doesn't matter to my gender.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being born with a penis and a difference between that and chopping your penis off.
There's You're
One.
missing the point. I understand that there's a difference there, but you're missing the point that gender is not indexed to your
That's
genitals or
literally the
your
point,
sex.
though.
Gender and
That's
sex are
literally
two
the
different
point.
things. Hold
That's
on. You
literally
gotta
that.
shh. You gotta listen. This is why you're confused. Gender isn't sex. They're two different things. Gender has to do with your brain. Sex has to do with the other parts of your body, like your reproductive system. Okay? That's the distinction. And so somebody who is a man is not a man because of their penis. They're a man because of their brain. And that's why trans women are women, because you take their brain, if you took my brain and you put it into a female body, I'd still be a man, because I think the same way. I have the same personality. I have the same identity. And that's all a trans woman means. You take a woman brain into a different sex body, and there's an incongruence there. That's all it is. It's that simple. You're making it complicated because you just don't want to understand that. We can't hear you. You're muted.
But like you're saying, okay, if a woman, right, is everything about her is a woman, but then all of a sudden she has a man brain, that doesn't make her a man. The way you're saying it, that would just make her a woman with a man brain. But you don't change the entire construct of everything that makes her a woman just because her is different now. That doesn't make any
Again,
sense.
you keep forgetting that there is a gender sex distinction. You keep equivocating woman with female. They're not the same thing.
It's not that anyone's forgetting it. It's just
Yes, you are. You're not
gender
listening to
and
me. You keep forgetting
gender,
that
the
woman
two
has nothing
things.
to do with your sex.
Okay, but it has forever. It's always had it's always been the same thing.
Well, that's
Gender
always been the
and
case that people
sex.
believe the earth was flat. It doesn't make it true just because people used to believe that. We're learning about the brain. We're learning
Okay,
about ourselves. We're
we
learning about
didn't
people.
we
And
didn't
we're finding that
learn
this is the case, that there's
we
a
didn't
whole
learn the
spectrum of identities that go
we didn't
beyond our
learn.
sex.
I know we didn't learn the Earth was round yesterday, though.
Well, we are recently learning about gender identities, and they're very
and
complicated. And so, yes, we should be learning more about this. And
I know,
your
but
argument is old and outdated.
I know, but that doesn't even make sense. The only reason that we learned the world wasn't flat is because of technology and science, which you're so big on. But we're not learning that gender and sex is different and something new that we didn't know about because of technology.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Directly. MRI scans, fMRI scans. We can do brain scans now. We can ask people about their gender identities. We can understand more about their brains through science. Science is the main reason why we're understanding more about transgender folks, because that's how we learn about how they think.
Well,
Their
bro,
psychology.
I don't know if you've been seeing the people protesting about it, but they sure don't look like scientists, bro.
What?
They do not
Why
seem
is
like
that relevant
scientists.
if they're scientists or not protesting? This is a complete red herring. Let's get back. Why are trans women not women? And your only argument seems to be, I don't like it that way. It's always been this way. That is not a good argument. That disregards the science. Okay, have a good day. Look, folks, I understand this topic is so foreign, it's so taboo, it's so scary to talk about. But when you learn the science and the data, it works in my favor. We have shown that there are correlations between certain brain structures and gender identity. We've learned this. We're figuring out more about the self-perception of gender. That has to do with how we think, how our brains are set up, not with how our peepees are set up.
On the trans women or women topic, so you're saying it has nothing to do with genitalia?
What? Yeah, gender doesn't. There's a gender-sex distinction. Gender is not sex. They're different. Do you understand?
It's a bit complicated. I, I'm trying to follow you here. I really am. But why does it? Why do people care so much about it?
Well, because these people exist in our society, and we have to recognize that they are people and they're valid. And the more we disregard them and put this off and don't talk about it, the more they feel like shit, and the more we're polarized as a public, the more hateful and bigoted we become. Do you understand? A lot of trans folks, a lot of a lot of non-binary folks commit self-harm because of societal pressures, ignorant people not understanding them. It's a real phenomenon, and that's why knowledge helps us. Learning about this, talking about it helps us.
Oh, let me get this. So it should. Do you think it should be taught in schools? Like
What should be taught in schools?
that these type of people exist. People that they
Yeah, it's a
identify.
fact of reality. Trans people exist. It's a fact. Get over it. They always have existed and always will exist.
I don't have a problem with them. I just don't know.
Okay, so what's your counter argument to these ideas?
Oh, God is imaginary. Well, I don't have any evidence that he isn't. He should be vegan. Well, with the veganism,
Let's not skip ahead.
okay, God is
Let's talk about the topics directly, one by one. Let's start with something.
okay. So God is imaginary. Well, what does imaginary mean to you? I mean, when you say imaginary, do you mean
It's not real.
made up? Like just something that we like?
It's not real. It's not real. It's not real.
Like SpongeBob.
Yeah, it's not real, right? It doesn't exist in reality.
Isn't that the point though? Doesn't God say He's unseen, like in books and like?
All right, have a good day. I can't with the microphone and with the. I have a restriction. I'm gonna head off and come back. So stay tuned. Please follow me, so you don't lose the live.
All right, finally. So Loki, I kind of want to tackle your claims of God is imaginary and you should be vegan. And I'm going to try to come off as respectful as possible because a lot of times, even if I lean slightly towards your arguments, I kind of like playing devil's advocate just to give myself some further knowledge. So your point of God is imaginary. Can I like ask you why you think he's not real?
There's a overwhelming lack of evidence. There are logical issues with God.
Mm-hmm.
The problem of evil, divine hiddenness.
Okay. So I'm not going to argue for any sort of religion or faith specifically. I am just going to argue, like, I'm not going to argue for God's place in the universe at all. But my entire reasoning for God being real is because there just simply can never be a never-ending hierarchy of creation. In my opinion, there just has to be an absolute being. But even beyond that, so like, if let's say even if I give you that point, okay, I want to ask you how your morality is grounded.
What do you mean how my morality is grounded?
So, for
You
example,
mean how I explain morality? My morality is explained by preferences, ultimately, brain preferences.
so do you believe in objective morality?
No, I don't believe in objective morality.
You don't think you can be objectively right or wrong?
Not about morality.
So let's
Because
say
I'm an emotivist, essentially, about metaethically speaking. I'm an emotivist. I don't think that when we say it's wrong to steal, that's a truth apt position. I think that
why is that
what
true?
we're saying is we don't like stealing, and that's not a true or false statement. That's just I don't feel it's good. I don't like it.
So that okay. So for example, someone who's Muslim or someone who's Christian or whatever the case may be, let's say if they say, okay, killing is bad. Right now, they're able to say killing is bad because in their books or whatever their faith is, it says killing is bad.
That's
So
subjective morality too.
yeah, but that's my point is that morality should be somewhat objective
No,
because
that's subjective morality. I don't
no,
think that I don't think that
following
Christian.
the books makes it
Hold
objective.
on. Following the Bible or the Quran doesn't make you objective. That's just also subjective preferences that the
That's
Bible
only from the
has.
point of view of not being faithful. So someone who has faith. So for example, the
That
reason
still
why
doesn't make it
people,
objective.
but let me give you an example. So for the reason that so for example, someone who's religious or Christian or Muslim or whatever the case may be, they're able to say that their morality applies to every timeline because they follow the same rules. So, for
It
example, if
doesn't
the
make it objective. Do
okay,
you know what
but
objectivity means?
I know what objectivity means. You're not
What
understanding.
does it mean then?
What do you mean? What is I know objectivity means? Well,
What
I'm
does it
saying
what
right
does it
now.
mean?
Hold
What
on,
does
let me
it
get
mean
my
to be
point across.
objective?
Let me
What does
get
it
my
mean to be
point across. Let me get my point across.
look. This is the most important question. It's okay if you don't know the answer. Just tell me. I don't know what it means to be objective. But do you know what does it mean to be objective? It's okay if you don't know it. I'm not going to harm you.
Just the quality of being objective. So something is right or wrong.
No. So that's not what it means to be objective. When we say objective, when it comes to moral philosophy, we're talking about
Free from bias.
stance independency, right? Something that's independent of stances or opinions or feelings.
Okay, so that's exactly what I said. But anyway, so for example, so someone who was in the 1800s, or let's say someone who was hundreds and hundreds of years ago, where slavery was a thing, would you say that person's immoral?
Somebody doing slavery?
Someone who was a part of slavery, they had slaves. Would you consider them immoral?
Yes, that's immoral.
Okay, but off of what?
Off of the fact that slavery harms people. That to me is reason to think that it's bad to enslave.
Okay, but how do you know that it harms people?
Because they have certain
Doesn't slavery always
responses
harm
to
people?
that. Because slavery harms a person's mentality. It harms their emotionally, spiritually,
But does it always?
physically. What?
But does it always?
Yes.
Okay, so you
It
saying
can
that
always do that.
does that not lean towards an objective thing? Oh, it harms them, so it has to be wrong.
What? I don't understand your question.
You're saying it's wrong because it harms them. So from your point of view, that's
It's
irrefutable.
not the only reason why it's wrong,
then
but
give me
that's
another
one of the
reason.
reasons why it's
Then give me
wrong
another
to
reason.
enslave people.
Because it goes against your morality, correct?
There's also, yes, there are principles I abide by, and enslaving somebody is taking the
Where do
right
your
to
principles come from?
The principles come from reality. They come from learning about other people,
Okay.
asking them
And what
how
about
they
in
live
that
in
person's
truth.
reality, the slave owner's reality?
Why don't you listen to what I have to say?
I am listening.
So then, shh, and listen.
Go ahead.
My principles come from learning about other people's experiences and listening to what they have to say about how they want to be treated and how we collectively want to live together. And whatever makes the most peace and increases the well-being of everybody, that's the kind of principles I typically abide by. And enslaving others doesn't follow those principles, and hence it's wrong.
Okay. And so, okay, so my point. So let's say during ancient Rome, where there used to be gladiator fights, or there's even ancient tribes today in like African regions where killing is just considered something normal. Like it's not frowned upon. It's something very normal to society. So that goes. So everyone's okay with it. So does that make it okay?
No, again, because that's
Well, why
not how
not?
I do my moral calculus.
Yeah, but you just
My
said by
moral
observing.
analysis is not done by the majority rules. It's not just the
But you said
majority
by observing.
automatically means they're right. No, what I'm saying is we listen to people and we look at the actual consequences to people's actions. And then we do the analysis based on what makes for the best outcome. And killing and harming people obviously doesn't allow for them to prosper.
Yeah, but that's only to you. So for the people that are in that
Yes,
tribe,
just like to you, your religion is the right morality. It's all subjective.
okay, whatever. We can ignore that point because it's just going to be circular. So for the you should be vegan part. So I honestly do think that people who are vegan, honestly, they're just morally more correct, in my opinion. But just for the sake of argument,
I win again.
no, you don't. Just for the sake of
What's your next
argument,
one?
just for the sake of argument, I just want to know. So, do you hold it against other animals for killing other animals at all?
Animals don't have moral agency. They can't speak. They
Why
don't
don't
know
they?
what they're doing, morally speaking. For the most part,
What does that even mean?
some animals you might argue like chimps and orangutans and
Dolphins.
they might be. We might hold them accountable for some actions, yes,
Okay.
but no, we can't do that for all of them.
Okay, but for the ones that do, so why don't we? So do you hold it against them?
Do I hold it against them?
Yeah. So do you think it's wrong?
No, because animals. Well, I still think it's wrong, but there's nothing. You're asking a different question. You're asking, should we hold them accountable? How could we do that?
No, I'm just asking. if you
Put
think
them
it's
in
wrong.
jail put a tiger in jail?
I'm just telling you, do you think it's wrong?
That sounds ridiculous, right? In reality, there's nothing we can do.
I didn't ask should they get punished. I asked, do you think it's wrong?
Yes, I think it's wrong for anybody to just
Not
to
anybody
slaughter
saying animals. Do you think it's wrong for animals to kill and eat other animals to live?
It depends on which animal it is. If it's a human, yes,
Not a
they're
human.
doing something
Anyone
wrong.
but human.
If it's a tiger or a lion, they don't have the moral agency or capability of
But how do you know they
recognizing
don't have the moral
it.
agency for that?
I'm sorry?
How do you know they don't have the moral agency for that?
Because they don't exhibit the kind of moral agency that humans have.
How would you know that?
Because of their behaviors. They don't.
Okay.
They're not conscious of the moral behaviors like we are as human beings. We are highly aware of our moral behaviors. In regards to the other animals, they're not.
Okay. So what about you say we can get all our essential vitamins and nutrients and whatnot from plants, and so what about like vitamin B12 or like heme iron, for example?
Vitamin B12 is found in mushrooms, in certain plants, certain
Vitamin B12
buckwheat.
is
It's found in fortified foods and nutritional yeast. It's found in certain seaweed. It's found in certain plants.
So you okay?
And what the other one you asked was what?
Heme iron.
Heme iron. That is found in. Well, first of all, heme iron is not essential. We can get iron from spinach and all kinds of plants. But you could also get heme iron in Impossible Burgers. They have
But they're
some.
not efficiently absorbed whatsoever.
What? I'm sorry. What's not absorbed?
They're not efficiently absorbed.
What is it?
Non-heme, like for example, in plants, they're not efficiently absorbed. They're non-heme.
Oh, what's your source on that?
They're non-heme. They don't have
What's your source that plant iron is not absorbed sufficiently?
biochemistry.
That's not a source. What is your actual source?
Okay, where are your sources for everything that you've been talking about?
Well, here's a study called The Position of the Academy of Dietetics and Nutrition, suggesting that plant-based diets are suitable for all stages of life. You want
Wow.
more?
Okay, and what if I found a study that says diets with meat are suitable for all kinds of life?
I agree. That's irrelevant, though. The point is that you could be healthy as a vegan.
Okay, I didn't say you can't be healthy. I'm saying that
Okay, so then what is your problem with veganism?
okay, but you're saying that all nutrients and vitamins can be found in meat. That's not true though. It just can't. B12 is not found in abundance in anything, in any kind of plant product. You cannot
I
reach
just gave you
cannot
several
reach your
examples.
minimum
Mushrooms.
daily
Stop.
B12.
Sir, please. I just gave you multiple examples. You didn't listen to anything I told you. Seaweed. You can get this at the store. Target has it. Get a box of that. You eat a few of them, you can get 100% of your RDA of B12 in just a few bites. Mushrooms have it, right? Nutritional yeast has it. You can get a spoonful, has like 5 times the amount you need per day. So there is no problem getting B12 as a vegan. There's no problem. There's no problem getting iron. There's no problem getting amino acids or protein. So stop making this argument. You're going nowhere. Oh, I'm sorry. I muted you by accident.
No, it's okay. I personally just don't think that's true. But so what about, like, for example, in terms of human evolution and like biology and like ancestral diet and how humans have evolved as omnivores for what, like 2-3 million years? We've even had physiological adaptations, so like stomach acid, dentition, digestive enzymes. These were all digestive process, both plants and animals. Even brain development. The rapid growth of the human brain is like it's pretty strongly linked to consumption of nutrient-dense animal foods.
No, there's no evidence that animal foods are the only reason why our brains grew. But more importantly, let's just say you're right that we have evolutionary history of being omnivorous. Well, we don't have to eat meat today. Nothing about our bodies suggests that we must consume animals. And so your argument is completely moot again. There's nothing about our evolution that says today we have to eat animals. I could be vegan just fine.
I don't think. Well, yeah, you could be vegan just fine, but I think you can live better as a meat eater.
Where's your source on that? When vegan diets are known to reduce your risk of heart disease and cancer by a ton. Red meat is linked to cancer and heart disease and heart attacks.
Overconsumption of red meat is linked.
No, not overconsumption. Even normal
100%.
amounts.
I want you to show me the studies on that.
I'm sorry?
Can you show me the studies on that?
Sure. No problem.
Overconsumption of anything is bad for you, but
I agree. But in the case of red meat,
no,
like in this study here, red and processed meat consumption and risk of coronary heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. That's the title of the study, which demonstrates that around 50 grams per day of red meat.
can ID for it?
Yeah.
What is it?
I mean, it's better off to look at the actual title of the study.
Yeah, but the title of the study doesn't prove anything. You know how many studies there are that have uncontrolled groups and that are just not conducted properly?
I'm sorry, but we have like hundreds of these kinds of studies. The consensus is that red meat raises your risk of heart disease.
Yeah,
This is not a debated topic.
A lot of times that is correlated, but it's not caused.
Enough correlation points to causation, and we actually know the
Not always.
causation.
Not always.
Stop. We know the causal link between red meat and heart disease and cancers.
Which is
We
what?
know in the case of red meat, we know that cholesterol can block the arterial walls,
Again,
and
that's
it can cause arterial plaque to grow and inflame the arteries and block arteries. And the second way, heme iron can infiltrate the stomach wall and promote cancer growth, promote cancerous cells. So those are two pathways we know of that meat causes disease.
Just because it
But
can doesn't mean it will. It's
look
not
how
how it
you
works.
look. Notice how you keep moving the goalpost every
No,
time
I'm
I
not
need your
moving the
data.
goalposts at all. Not even a little bit. Just because it can doesn't mean it will.
Well,
That's
that's the
not.
point. That's the point of
Just because a mushroom
research.
can kill you doesn't mean it will kill
That's
you.
the point of research. We know that there's a
Exactly.
statistical congruence with meat consumption and heart disease. It's not the case that every time you eat meat, you're going to die. Nobody's saying that. What we're saying is that statistically, if you consume this amount of meat, you are more likely to have heart disease. That's how research is done.
That is not how that works. It's
There are
just
people that smoke cigarettes all their life and don't get lung disease.
okay.
But we know that lung disease is caused by smoking.
Okay, now can you tell me one good thing that cigarettes do?
We're not talking about cigarettes. I
You
gave
brought
you an
up
analogy to
cigarettes.
show you how research is done, how statistics is done. It's not done based on every time you smoke a cigarette, you're going to have cancer. That's not how this works. It's probability.
Okay, but you said
And
something can.
that's the point here.
Oh my god. You're just not real. There's no way you're serious. So you're telling me if you eat a controlled amount of meat, you will have an extremely you will have a higher risk of cancer?
Yes, we know that 50
How much
grams per
more?
week.
How much more?
This study showed 50 grams per week.
No, how much what's the percentage more?
The percentage is around about 15 to 25%.
Yeah. Can you send me that study? Or can you tell me that study?
Yeah, I already gave you the title. What else do you want? PMID?
I just want the PMID, yeah. Because cholesterol levels have been shown to like have almost no effect on the human body.
What?
Cholesterol has been
Cholesterol levels have been shown to have
cholesterol
no
levels have
effect
been
on your
proven.
body.
Cholesterol levels have been
No,
proven to
we
not be
know
as
we know
significant.
for a fact that
The problem.
cholesterol clogs your arteries. This is
Oh my
just
god.
fact. Well, I know you keep saying "oh my god," but you never bring data to counter that.
Yeah, I joined a debate randomly on a TikTok live on a guy who's been debating for hours, and I you expect me to have all my sources ready? No.
So you
So good to
concede you're
have
not
more of the
so
sources.
you concede you're not prepared to have this debate with me?
What does that conceding do? What does that do for you?
Yeah.
What does that do for you?
Hello?
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I want to debate all three of these topics. First with you saying God is imaginary.
Okay.
Can you prove to me that God is imaginary?
Which God?
Well, let's do the Christian God.
Okay. Is the Christian God all loving?
Yes.
Then why is God responsible for the evil in the world? Why does God allow for babies to get cancer?
Because without evil, there can be no good.
Who said that? How does that work?
Because we wouldn't know what good is if there wasn't evil.
Well, first of all, that's a different thing, right? We might not know the difference, but first of all, we actually could know the difference because we can know what a neutral thing is versus a good thing, and we can compare and contrast. But more importantly, I asked you, why is there evil in the first place? Not that we should know about it, but why is there evil? And it seems antithetical to a good, law-loving God for it to allow for babies to have cancer and for children to starve.
Well, yeah, but people are. People are. There's always going to be evil in this world.
But whose fault is that? It seems like God is responsible for the world entirely. So that's God's responsibility for the evil.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but can you prove that God is imaginary?
I just pointed out a contradiction, right? The contradiction is evil in a all good God world. A world where God is all good and is responsible for the world. We would expect a good world. But instead we see a world full of evil atrocities that it seems like it's a contradictory thing to a good God. It seems like God is evil.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of good as well.
That still fits an evil God. An evil God could allow for some good to make it so that we understand all the evil.
Okay. Well, let's move on to vegan.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. So people have the choice to eat whatever they want, right?
Okay, so I can eat you?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, you agree that I can consume you?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a crazy person, yeah, I mean,
So you think it's acceptable for me to consume your body parts and
well,
your
it's not.
family? You think I
Well,
could
no.
murder you and your family? You think that's acceptable?
Well, no, but humans are superior to animals.
Oh, okay, so then I can't eat what I want.
No, and you don't want to eat humans, obviously.
Well, what if Jeffrey Dahmer wants to eat you, right? By your logic, he should be allowed to. But clearly, we think that's wrong. Well, clearly, we don't eat what we want to. However, in the case of the animals, we think that it's okay to consume them. We don't see an issue with that. And that's my contention with non vegans. They don't see the problem that they're causing to the animals, the suffering and the death and the abuse. That's what you have to justify.
Right, but humans are above. Like, get rid of the morality of it, right? Because you always talk about the moral issues of it, and I mean, humans are above animals and superior to animals.
In
Right?
what way? In what way are we above them?
We are more aware and more conscious
Okay,
and
so you're
smart.
saying because we're more aware, we get to slaughter them, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm more aware of a dog. Is that true?
Yes.
Should I be able to murder and slaughter dogs?
Well, no, I mean, we don't eat dogs.
Oh, but you just said that's what justifies it because we're more aware, right? So why does that not apply to dogs, but it applies to cows? What's the difference?
I mean, we could eat dogs if we wanted to, but we don't.
Why is it wrong to eat dogs, but okay to eat cows? What's the morally relevant distinction between those two animals?
There is no morally relevant distinction. We could eat dogs if we wanted to.
Oh, so you think it's acceptable for you to slaughter a dog and eat it?
If it was culturally relevant, yeah.
No. It's a random dog on the street. You go up to it, you slaughter it, and then you eat it. Is that acceptable to you, or is that wrong?
That's not the way we do it. There's a long process of why we do it, and that.
Okay, regardless of the process, whether it's short or fast, do you think it's acceptable to go up to a puppy and slaughter it and then eat it?
If that was the way we did it, then yes.
Okay. So why is it acceptable to eat a dog but not a person? What's the morally relevant distinction?
There is no morally relevant distinction. humans are superior to every other animal.
That's what we're trying to go through, right? The line of reasoning we're trying to get into, we're trying to ask you what trait makes it okay to slaughter them. And you keep saying awareness. But I showed you that when it comes to a dog, we're more aware of it, right? You said first, you said no, then you said yes. So now we're at the point where we're comparing a human person to a dog. Now, when it comes to awareness, I'm more aware than a baby. Do you agree?
No.
So you think babies are just as aware as an adult human person?
Yeah.
Well, an entire field of the psychology would disagree with you there, right? We know that babies are not as aware. Their brains aren't fully developed. So they don't have the capacity to be aware as we. And so, and especially in the case of mentally disabled people, we know don't have any kind of awareness. People who are severely mentally disabled, right? And so, would it be okay to slaughter somebody who has no awareness or just as much awareness as a dog?
Okay, but you understand that humans are above the intelligence of every other animal on Earth, right?
All right. Have a good day. I agree that we're more intelligent. The problem is that intelligence isn't a justification for slaughtering somebody. Because I'm more intelligent than a baby. That doesn't mean I get to slaughter the baby because I'm more intelligent. And if you go through all these traits, we can equalize all these traits and find that there is no justification for a trait that animals don't have that we do. We can always find an equivalent human being. And that's why it's wrong to slaughter animals. There's no justification for it. All right, one more guest.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Well, I disagree with every prompt, but let's just talk about the vegan thing. Would you agree that humans are omnivorous in their physiological makeup?
Not necessarily, but for the sake of argument, yeah, we can say we're omnivorous.
So, what is exactly morally, I guess, wrong with consuming animals versus not?
Oh, because you're taking someone's life from them. You're taking their experience away from them without justification.
So, what if I were to tell you that even though I eat animals, I also preserve their lives more than you do?
So you think killing somebody preserves their life better?
No. I didn't say that. I said I preserve more animal life than you, even though I do eat it.
By killing them.
No. That's not what I'm saying. So, okay, I'm a sportsman, right? I'm a hunter, and I pursue waterfowl, correct? And my community also pursues waterfowl responsibly, of course, and within the law. And then we also set up thousands of acres of habitat along the flyways that the waterfowl uses to preserve sanctuary so that they have refuge, food, all the things they need so that the populations thrive. So I would argue that sportsmen are more concerned with the populations and the preservation of life of waterfowl than someone like you who just tells people they don't need to eat meat. Like, what have you done for animals besides advocate for them on TikTok?
So you think hunting deer is preserving their life more than not hunting them?
I don't hunt deer. I hunt waterfowl. But even in that argument, say you had 1,000-acre farm and you fed deer and preserved their populations and made sure they maintained healthy populations, male and female and otherwise, and then harvested them responsibly. That's no different than
Imagine saying that we harvested people responsibly. It doesn't make any
yeah.
sense.
But
It doesn't make sense.
harvesting
No,
people responsibly is totally irrelevant to this
no,
conversation
it's
because
not
it's
irrelevant
illegal.
because you're
It's
not.
illegal.
But that doesn't make it morally
Why?
wrong.
It doesn't make it morally wrong to eat animals.
It makes it wrong
That's your moral
because
compass.
what you're doing to the animals is taking their experience and their life away without reason. That's what's wrong.
What is the lifespan of the average waterfowl?
Why does that matter?
Hey, just answer the question. What is the
I don't know.
lifespan?
Maybe 3
What
or
is the
4 years.
lifespan?
Maybe
What is
5 or 6 years.
okay? What's the lifespan of the average mourning dove?
I don't know.
Okay, so I mean, when you don't know these things about the animals that you're trying
It's
to protect,
irrelevant how
then
long you live. Look.
no, it's not.
Imagine if there was a baby who lived for only 1 year. Would it be okay to slaughter that baby because it only had a short life?
You keep going back to human beings as if
What's the
there's no
difference?
distinction
What's the
between that
difference?
and animals.
What's the
The
difference?
difference is you're talking about humans versus animals. That's a silly
What's
distinction,
the
and you know
difference?
that.
What's the difference?
What do you mean that's the difference? We're talking cannibalism is wrong.
What's the morally
Like what?
relevant difference between humans killing a human for meat and killing an animal for their meat?
Because we are not cannibals by nature. We don't eat
No,
human beings. It's
I'm
illegal.
asking you, what's the morally relevant difference between a human and a waterfowl that makes it okay to kill the waterfowl?
Well, first of all, because it's legal and because I have every right to do it. And secondly, because I preserve way more waterfowl than I take from this earth. And those waterfowl are going to unalive from natural causes or from overpopulation or lack of habitat regardless. And so if I'm able to consume
So
them,
let's go through all the things you mentioned. Oh, it's legal, Mike. Okay, well, so is cheating. Does that mean cheating is morally acceptable because it's legal? No. Legality does not imply morality. Secondly, you said
some states it's illegal, by the way.
it's irrelevant. The point is that something can be morally good but illegal, or vice versa. It could be legal but bad. Legal but bad. Okay.
What?
Secondly, when it comes to the life of an animal, you're still taking it away, even though they might live 3 or 4 years. You're still taking their lives short. And we would never do this to a person. A person, say they only lived a couple years, we would never make it okay to cut their life short by a year because, they're going to die soon anyway. They're all going to unalive anyway. Well, this applies to humans too. You're not showing the difference between the waterfowl and the human being. You're not showing that difference.
You know how elementary that argument is, and you always revert to it because that's the only thing that you have.
That's not a counter argument. I want you to really think about this. What's the difference morally between waterfowls and humans killing them?
Well, I'm a Christian, and it literally says in the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill. And it's not talking about animals because it also says within Acts that Peter should arise and kill and eat the animals that were let down by the four corners on the sheet. And it included four-legged animals as well as birds of the air. And
okay, so if the Bible said you can go ahead and eat people, would you do it?
Did the Bible say that?
If the Bible said you can eat
You're making
people,
a hypothetical. Why would you do that?
Stop and listen. The reason why this is important is to show you how the Bible is not a good moral book. It's not
it is.
It's not a good way to justify your morality. For example, if the Bible said you can eat people, would you think that's good?
Well, the Bible doesn't say that.
Okay.
So therefore,
all right. So let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Exodus. Let's go to
and
Numbers
find me
31,
cannibalism.
where God
find some cannibalism.
where God allows you to grape and slaughter others and kill them. Is that okay?
No, that's not. You're taking that all of that scripture out of context, and you know you are.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
well then, hey,
immediately out
then
of
if you're
context
the
when
bring the
God does
scripture.
something
Let's
bad.
break the scripture down then. Bring the scripture. I know you have it, so pull it up.
No problem. Do you think slavery is good?
I think slavery was a necessary evil at times throughout history. Duh. I mean, are you going to say it's not?
No, it was never fucking necessary.
Really? That's
And it's
crazy.
still wrong today. It's
As
still
someone who's
wrong.
probably never had dirt under their fingernail, you have no idea what you're
All
talking
right,
about. You
so
sit in your
Parrish,
glass
Parrish,
house. Okay.
do you think that selling your daughter as a slave is okay?
Bro, are you talking about 1400 BC or 2025
I'm
AD?
talking about your Bible.
What are you talking about?
Exodus
2024
Exodus
2025
21.
AD?
You want to
Are
talk
you
about Bible verses? I have one right here, Exodus 21:7, where it says, "You can if a man sells his daughter as a slave, she is not to be treated as a male slave." That's disgusting. You
Okay.
shouldn't sell your
Okay.
daughter as a slave. Do you agree?
No. What are you talking about? That was okay. You think you've got some kind of gotcha there? Is that what you think?
Yes, this is a
No.
gotcha because
No, it's
you're
not a
using the
gotcha.
Bible to justify atrocities
No, I'm not.
when you want, right? You're picking and choosing, you're special pleading where
It's
you want
really
the Bible to apply and when
it's
you don't want it to
hyperbolic
apply.
to call eating animals an atrocity. It's an atrocity to you, maybe,
Well,
but it's obviously not an
do you
atrocity to
think
the majority of the earth.
that doesn't make it okay?
It is okay.
Do you
If it
think
wasn't
that's do you
okay,
think
then 90% of people on earth wouldn't do it.
the reason
You're
why
you
80% of people don't think it's bad is
I,
because they're not connected to what's happening.
sir,
They're not seeing the
listen.
consequences. Shh. There's a reason why factory farms are closed and there's no windows. You can't see inside. And it's illegal to go inside and record. They don't want you to see what happens. They're deliberately hiding what's happening to these animals in factories. And so that's a big reason why most of the public is unaware of this issue. That doesn't make it okay. And so, more importantly, we don't base our morality on, oh, most people think it's okay. That's
It's
not a good way to justify, because you just before said the Bible is what makes it okay. So you can't hold
I've
contradictory
given you
meta-ethical
multiple
views here.
examples of why it's okay. I've given you
Well, if you're
multiple
going to use the Bible,
examples.
then use the Bible. Do you think it's okay to sell your daughter?
That didn't necessarily say it was okay to sell your daughter. It said that not for your daughter not to be treated like a male. And so,
Wow.
and why don't you read on either side of that verse?
Wow. You really want to
Read.
go here. It says, if she doesn't please the master can bring her back. Is that good too? To make your daughter be a sex slave?
A sex slave? Did it say sex slave in there?
It says if
Did
she
it say
doesn't
sex slave?
please her master.
Didn't say sexually.
What do you think pleasing means, sir, in the context of a virgin daughter?
Again, it doesn't say sexually please. So you're taking that and turning it into your own context for your argument.
Okay. So what do you think it means by, what does it mean? You're the Bible guy, right? So what does it mean in this context to please your master?
I mean, it could mean chores, doing work, whatever. Like, I don't know.
Okay. So do you think it's acceptable?
Bro.
Do you think it's
condescending.
acceptable to sell your daughter as a slave to somebody who has to please their master doing chores?
When was this written? When was this written? When was that written?
2,000 years ago.
No, it was written more than 2,000 years ago, homie. It was written about 3,500 years ago. This was you're talking about stuff that was written like 10th century BC.
Why does it matter? I thought you
10th
had
century
God.
BC.
I thought your Bible was the moral authority.
Because people adapt. Do you believe in adaptation?
Oh, so you agree that morality can change?
Oh, do you believe in adaptation?
You think morality can adapt?
Oh, absolutely. And I know that your argument.
Okay, so then forget the Bible. We're on the new update.
Then why didn't it?
If you agree that morality can change, then forget the Bible. We can move on to reality, right? Now, what's better morally speaking, to slaughter others or to not do that, right? What's the morally better decision?
Others or animals? And you keep talking about
Animals are
slaughtering.
others.
Wait.
Animals
You
are
keep
others.
talking about slaughtering. I'm not necessarily in agreement with the large farming industrial industry. I'm not for that. And most of my animals are taken straight from the field by myself and harvested by myself. And so
Yeah,
I really
I
don't
can
subscribe to that.
also
And also,
I
listen,
can
hey,
also murder
listen.
somebody by myself. It doesn't
I
make it
understand
any
what you're
better.
saying, but you keep going back to people, which is a ridiculous argument. And by the way, I tried your lifestyle for
What's the
about
difference?
6.
No, stop. There's a reason why I bring up people. It's to show you that there's no relevant distinction
It
between
is.
people and
No,
animals.
there's a distinction, bro.
What is the
You
distinction?
just got out of your mouth when the last guy asked you if it was okay for other animals to unalive animals. You said, well, they don't have any morals. Okay, so there is a distinction between animals
That's
and
not what
humans.
I'm. That's not. That doesn't work
That's
in this context.
exactly.
No, you're
It's
confused.
a
I'm asking for the morally relevant distinction between the animal and the individual animal and the individual human. The trait that distinguishes these two beings that justifies slaughtering them. That's what I'm asking you for. What is that trait? Name the trait that distinguishes the animals from us that makes it okay to slaughter them but not humans.
name the what? I
Trait.
didn't.
The trait.
Trait. Okay, the trait. Um, yeah, lack of moral compass and the fact that God gave us these
Okay,
animals to
great. So
consume
lack
and
of
made us
moral.
omnivorous.
So lack of
Don't
moral
shh me.
compass. So lack of moral compass makes it okay to slaughter, correct? Hello?
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just.
So do
Is that a
baby
question?
do babies have moral compasses?
Yeah, they do.
No, they
Are you
don't.
saying
Babies don't have
yes?
moral compasses. They don't understand morality. They're newborn babies.
You're talking about
Would
infants.
that
You're
would
talking
that
about
make would that
infants.
make it okay to slaughter a baby because they don't have
You're
moral
talking about
compasses?
infants. Are you talking about infants? By the way, and I just want to get this
Yes,
point
I'm
across
talking
to you.
about infants. Would it
Some
be
of the
okay to
stats.
slaughter an infant because they don't have a moral compass?
I want to get this point across. The stats that you were quoting earlier.
No. You're gonna listen to me and answer the
Ooh,
question. If some person doesn't have a moral compass, let's say they're mentally disabled, let's say they're an infant, they don't have any moral guidance, would it make it okay to slaughter that person because they don't have a moral compass? Yes or no?
absolutely not. No, it
Okay, so
absolutely
then
wouldn't
that
be.
trait is gone. You can't use that trait as a justification. It's
Because it's a
equalized.
human being. It's a human
Okay.
being.
So then what is the trait between the human being and the animal that makes it okay to slaughter them?
So are you saying that we're not to follow the laws of man? Is that what you're saying? I'm just
What is the
asking you.
trait that makes it okay
I'm
to slaughter an animal but not a human being?
again, the fact that they don't have a moral compass, the
I
fact that they're not
just went over
sentient
this. I
beings
just showed you people that don't have moral compasses, and you said it's wrong to kill them. So you're in
because
a
they're human
contradiction. You're
beings.
stuck in a contradiction.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, then let me spell it
You're you
out for you. This is the contradiction. You said it's okay to slaughter others if they don't have a moral compass. And then you said it is okay to it is not okay to slaughter others if they don't have a moral compass. It's a contradiction. It's the P and not P. Now, can you agree that you're in a contradiction?
No, I'm not in a
Okay,
contradiction.
let me say it again. The contradiction is you said it's okay to slaughter
You're
others
using it.
because they don't have a moral compass, and then
talking
you
about
said it
but you're
is
talking about
wrong
killing
to kill
people.
them if they don't have a moral compass. So
You're
you're
talking.
stuck in a contradiction. Do you understand the
No,
contradiction?
I'm not stuck in a contradiction. You're talking about unaliving people, and it's the
All
most
right,
silly.
yeah, can't track. Right, there are some people that just can't track to the conversation. I understand that animals don't have moral compasses. Neither do babies or mentally disabled people. That doesn't make it okay to slaughter them. That's the point. There is no trait that animals don't have that we do that makes it okay to slaughter them. It's not intelligence because it wouldn't be okay to slaughter a non-intelligent person. There's no difference. There's no relevant difference. And that's why it's wrong to slaughter animals. You guys want one more victim? And for the people arguing that babies have a moral compass, you gotta be kidding me. They're babies. They don't know they don't have awareness yet. They don't have awareness. How can they possibly have moral compasses? They will eventually. Yeah, that's a good point. They will eventually. But let's say this person will never develop moral compass. Does that make it okay to slaughter them? No. So whether they eventually get it, or they never get it, or they always get it, it's irrelevant. That's the point. It's still wrong to slaughter somebody just because of their intelligence. And I can't believe I have to explain this to people and debate about this. Like, it's crazy.
Hello?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Good.
So I disagree with I disagree with like you should be vegan. I don't see why you're trying to push for people to be vegan. I mean,
Okay. Do you think that it's okay to abuse animals?
abuse animals? No.
Great, then go vegan.
No, why? That's different from survival.
Because you agreed that it's wrong to abuse an animal.
Yeah, that's not the same as eating an animal for survival. We all do this for survival, animals and humans alike. It's
I
just that we
disagree.
do it mainly,
I don't think you have to eat an animal to survive. I think you can eat plants and survive just fine.
but they're living creatures too, just like animals, are they not?
They're not
What's the difference?
sentient. They're not sentient like animals are.
But they're still living.
It doesn't matter. They're not sentient. That's what we care about. I don't care bacteria is alive, but it doesn't make it wrong to kill a bacteria. They're not sentient. They have no experience. But animals do.
Yeah, and so what's the problem with eating an animal?
You're taking away their experience of life.
Have you not seen animals out in the wild eating each other? Do you not see how brutal that is?
I agree, it is brutal, but are you gonna be nature's police? No. And by the way, you're not an animal. You're not that kind of animal. You are a civilized human being with choices, and with choices comes responsibility. So what's more responsible, slaughtering or not slaughtering?
It's responsible to stay alive, to survive, and we do that by eating animals. That's
You can stay alive without animal consumption.
That's good for you, but people can still eat animals if they want to. That's not the problem. That's not an issue.
Why would it be okay to do so if we know it causes them unnecessary suffering? That's the problem.
That's why we try to slaughter the animals as painless as possible, as humanely as possible.
So how do you humanely slaughter somebody who doesn't have to die? How do you do that?
Are we talking about people or animals?
Both.
Why are we talking about both? We don't eat people unless you're a cannibal.
But why is it wrong to eat people but okay to eat animals? What's the difference?
Why? Because we don't eat our own kinds.
Why not?
You gonna eat a human?
I'm asking you, what fundamentally is the reason why we think it's wrong to slaughter people and eat them?
Because we as humans are more complex than a lot of animals. We're more aware. We're more
aware. Okay, so we're more aware. Are babies as aware as us?
No, they're babies.
Or dogs, for example? Are dogs as aware as us?
They're aware, but not like us. Humans, we are one of a kind.
I agree. But the point is that dogs are not as complex as us, right?
Yes.
So by your logic, it should be okay to slaughter dogs. Do you agree?
No, we don't need to eat dogs. That's the thing.
Okay. So then there you go. It doesn't matter how complex we are. We still wouldn't make it okay to eat dogs. We don't have to eat dogs, just like you said. And I agree. We don't have to eat dogs or any other animal. You can just eat plants.
That's ridiculous. You did. I don't know what you're trying to prove. You're picking and choosing specific animals that we know that like humans and dogs. Well, first of all, it's like a bond that we have. Like you know how a lot of dogs we have dogs that hunt other animals. You're gonna tell the dog to not hunt like a rabbit or something. You're gonna think the dog is morally wrong for wanting to hunt an animal. What if it needs to survive?
Animals in the wild run on instincts, and of course we can't stop that. It's
What do
still
humans?
wrong, but we can't stop them. They don't have moral agency. They don't have responsibility for their actions like humans do. Why? Because we have options. We don't
What are
have
we
to eat
responsible
squirrels.
for?
We don't have to eat wild dead squirrels. We could just go to the store and buy plants, right? And that's why we as human beings with civilization have responsibility to be vegan.
Look, you can be vegan if you want, but you can't say that we're like it's morally wrong to not eat to eat an animal. It doesn't like there's not a problem with it because that's how it is in nature. We are also a part of nature. We have urges.
Right, but
We have need survival.
in nature, we have also, in our past, have enslaved people, have raped other people. Does that make it okay to naturally rape others because it's nature?
Bro,
No,
what are you talking
we
about?
don't follow nature. Th-
That's
Using a
completely
toilet,
unrelated to
hold
what we're
on, hold
talking about.
on. Using a toilet isn't natural, right? Taking a shower isn't natural. Using technology isn't natural,
Breathing is
but we
natural.
do it anyway because we don't have to follow nature. We're not subject to nature. We can build societies with stores and buy food. So you're making an appeal to nature fallacy by
Yeah,
suggesting whatever is
we can
natural is
buy
good.
food because we're intelligent like that. If that weren't the case, we will be just like the animals out in the wild.
Yeah, that's why we have more responsibility to be vegan, because we're intelligent, because we can choose otherwise.
And what if someone chooses to eat meat?
Then I would say that's wrong because it's not necessary.
Who are you to decide what's right and wrong with what someone eats? Like,
I'm not deciding what's right or wrong. I'm just showing you why you might agree that it's wrong to abuse innocent beings. Do you
see, you're
agree?
saying abuse, like you're beating up animals just for the fun of it. That's different. That is wrong. I think we all can agree that that's wrong. But if you want food, like if you go to like a slaughterhouse, they will not torture the animals. They will like, feed it and like kill it as humanely as
I
possible.
think I think you ought to see what happens in these factory farms where 99% of our meat comes from.
Yeah,
These chickens
and
are
when that
stuffed in
happens,
cages. They can't move. A lot of them are stuffed with hormones, making them big and fat, and their bones break under their own weight, and they sit there with infections, and they peck at each other, and the farmers have to take away their beaks. They cut away their beaks, and they rip the pig's teeth out because inside of these cages, they fight each other because out of hunger and starvation. And in the case of cows are forced to be impregnated to give their milk, right? So these practices are not fun and they're not good. And no animal should be put in these situations at all. We could just stop it entirely. We
so
could
some of
stop
those things
harming and killing them. We could just be vegan.
you're really ducking me. So first of all, a lot of these things that like where you're saying where people abuse animals because I those places do exist, and everyone has a problem with that. Like we know that that's wrong to hurt and abuse animals. If you just want food, you would not be abusing animals. You would just freaking end its life as soon as possible and just eat food.
But
Eat
that's
vegetarian.
abuse. Look, but that's
That is
abuse.
not
Ending
abuse.
someone's life as soon as possible is also abuse. You're taking someone's life away from them without reason.
That's that's just how nature is. I don't think you understand.
But you keep appealing to nature. If you're going to appeal to nature, well, nature also says we can be cannibalistic. We can eat each other. You know, our
Go
ancestors
ahead.
used to be cannibals, right?
Go ahead and be a cannibal. See what happens.
No, no,
Nothing's
this is your
stopping you.
logic. I'm using your logic against you, showing that nature doesn't justify our actions. Just because it's natural to be a cannibal doesn't make it good. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so then nature, you cannot appeal to that as a moral justifier. We have to go beyond nature. What justifies taking innocent animals' lives away from them when you know you can eat something plant-based instead?
Literally, it goes down to survival. If you choose to eat a plant, that's your choice. But
But
you
we
would
can
not.
survive on plants. That's the point. The fact that we can survive without eating animals is a reason why we shouldn't eat animals.
It's more harmful for vegan products anyway. The amount of stuff that it takes to produce that stuff.
Do you want to go here? I don't think you want to go this way, sir, because far more resources, water, crops, land is given to the animals that you slaughter. All the animals, we have to be fed food. Where does that food come from? We have to grow it. And that's why most crops in the world that we grow are grown for the animals. And so you're the one wasting all the resources, not the vegan. The vegan uses way less water, way less crops, way less land, way less carbon emissions.
You done? Are you?
Yeah, what's your response?
Honestly, I forgot what you said. You're saying that we grow crops and all that stuff for the animals and then slaughter the animals. Are you saying it wastes more resources as opposed to just removing the animal itself, eating the vegetables or plants? Humans were not meant to just eat plants. I don't think you understand that.
But who said that we're not meant to be vegan or eat plants? Who
Your
said that?
body, your body, your
I'm
body
I'm
requires
what
protein, and a lot of protein comes from animals, like good
a
protein.
lot of protein comes from plants.
I agree, but
Okay,
it's
so
nowhere
we
near
can
as
have all the
much.
protein we need as vegans. There's no reason
It's,
to eat protein from animals.
oh my god, there's no reasoning. That's cool. I mean, if you want to go vegan, that's perfectly fine. I have no issues with it. I was just curious to what you were thinking.
Well,
I mean, just
clearly you do have an issue with it if you're raising all these moot points.
well, I really
It's just
don't
that you
care.
feel stuck and you can't debate me, and that's why you're running away.
There is no debating with you. That's the thing. So why would I waste my time?
We just debated it. We already did it. You're just too scared to recognize that you have no point.
We're not reaching a middle ground. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, the middle ground is where we agree that being vegan is better. That's the middle ground, and you seem
It's
not to
not.
be agreeing.
I mean, you could think that, but that's fine.
I don't care if it's fine. I care if I'm right. Is it right to be vegan or is it wrong?
It doesn't matter.
But of course it matters. Do you think it matters if I eat people or eat dogs? Of course you think if I had a dog or a puppy on this live and I stabbed it in the neck, I'd be canceled tomorrow.
Why are
Of
you
course it
why are you
matters
going
of
to
course it
dog
matters what we
people?
eat. Of course it matters what we consume.
Yes, because we're not meant to eat each other.
Why not? Why is it wrong to kill people but okay to slaughter a dog or slaughter a chicken?
Why is it okay to slaughter a dog and not a chicken? Or the other way around? Well,
Yeah, what's
first
the
of all,
difference? What's the morally relevant difference? You have yet to show that.
we've domesticated dogs
We've domesticated pigs and cows too, and chickens.
for for um for consumption.
Okay, so if we domesticated dogs for consumption, would it be okay to slaughter dogs?
No, because we don't need to. That's what I'm saying.
We don't need to eat the chickens either. We don't need to eat the chickens or pigs or cows either.
But we do.
We don't. We can get all the things we need as vegans. We can be vegan. Hello? We can't hear you when you mute yourself or you leave the live. We don't need to eat plants either. Right, but we have to eat something. And what's better? What's the better decision? Eating plants or slaughtering innocent beings? I think it's better to eat the plants, right? Oh, he left. Look, guys, it's tough debating a vegan who knows their shit because there are no good arguments against it. And so I don't want to belittle people. I don't want to say, oh, that person was stupid. No, he was a kind person. And most of you in the comment section are also very kind people and good people. The problem is you're disconnected from the animals and who they are. We just shrug it off like they're just objects. Oh, they're just stupid chickens. Who cares? But recognize they're not just stupid chickens. They're actually very smart. Birds are incredibly smart. Cows show motherly, nurturing qualities. They have awareness. They have love. They have dreams like you and me. Pigs are shown to look out for people, look out for others. They're very social, loving beings, right? And so to just dismiss these animals as just objects that we don't have to care about, I think it's a problem. That's all. That's all I'm saying. You know? Cows are yummy. I agree that meat might be tasty. Some people have claimed that human meat tastes like bacon. So does that justify slaughtering humans for their meat? No. Taste just does not justify slaughtering somebody. Think about this. No matter how good I might taste, nobody in their right mind would think it's okay to slaughter me. Unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer. Right? And so taste doesn't justify slaughtering somebody, no matter how good I taste. Secondly, there's lots of great tasting vegan foods. There's lots of yummy vegan foods. And so to reduce it as something as simple as vegans, there's no good tasting vegan food. That's ridiculous. You haven't even looked at the vegan food that's out there, right? And so everywhere you look, everywhere you go, every way you turn, there's no good arguments against what I'm saying. I've tried to look for the arguments that would justify it. There are no arguments. Just learn. All I ask of you guys is just learn about the animals, learn about food, where your food comes from, learn about nutrition, learn. That's all I can ask for. I think I'm going to close up the debates, do some Q&A for a little bit, and then go. So go ahead, ask any questions you might have. Someone said, why can't the chickens have a job? Chickens shouldn't be forced to have jobs at all. Nobody should be forced to have a job. Chickens need to pay taxes. Well, they don't contribute to our society in any significant way, monetarily speaking. How do you know human meat tastes like? Well, people who have consumed human flesh have told us what it tastes like, right? And they said it tastes like a sweet pig, like a sweet bacon. Trust me, people have consumed humans before in survival situations, right? Yeah, they call it long pig, yeah. It tastes like bacon. We taste like bacon. And furthermore, humans have tons of nutrients in our bodies. Like, we are full of all the necessary nutrients we need, literally all of them. So eating humans, nutrition-wise, is like the best thing. But that's still not a reason to slaughter people, right? Still no, that there's not good reasons. I have no morality. What are you talking about? Of course I do. Morality is trivially made by preferences, by analyzing the world around you, thinking about what you want to see, what's the better action to take, what's the better outcome you want. That's all morality means. Where does this come from? It comes from ourselves. It comes from learning about the world around you. That's all. You don't need a book. I don't need an ancient book to guide my moral actions. I don't need to read the Bible to know that murder is wrong. Without God, there's no morality. Who said that? In fact, I would argue with God, there's no morality. Because it's just God's opinion as to what's good or bad. I mean, why should we follow God's laws? Who cares about the 10 Commandments? Why do we care about that? What's wrong with not obeying them? Oh, you're going to go to hell. Who cares? Who cares about going to hell? What really does it matter? What really does it matter? There's no objectivity either way. it's just the omnipresent creator's opinion. Yeah, it's just literally God's opinion. Just like mine. It's no better, right? God's opinion is no better than mine when it comes to moral statements. Why does God make why is it wrong to murder just because God exists? Why can't it be wrong subjectively because I think it's wrong? What would Earth look like tomorrow if 100% of us went vegan today? Yeah, way more sustainable. There'd be way more land for us. The Amazon rainforest would not be so polluted and so on fire. A lot of the fires are because people are trying to take away the trees in the Amazon to make way for cattle ranching. We'd also have less carbon emissions, less climate change. We have more water for us to use because we use so much water to feed the animals to grow crops for them. So being vegan would be a way better thing for the world around you. No sources? Watch me. Reducing food's environmental impacts to producers and consumers. This was a study done by Harvard, which demonstrates 77% of the land mass that we use is for animal agriculture, and we would save about 75% by being vegan. There's your source. If you want more, I can give you them. Another one, vegans, vegetarians in the UK show discrepant environmental impacts, which also is an Oxford study that demonstrates humans would save about 70% or 75% of our land by being vegan. That doesn't prove anything. It does. If you read the study, right, the study demonstrates what I'm saying. Learn. You have to read and learn. You can't just say, no, you're wrong, you're stupid. You have to learn. You have to learn how to learn the data, learn the evidence, right? Just saying no, it's not an argument. Yeah, he asks for sources and then just dismisses them. This is what we see often, right? But there's nothing wrong with that person. They're just expressing their human ego, right? We don't want to be wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong, right? So that bias gets in the way. Oftentimes we don't want to be wrong, and so that blinds us from looking at the evidence, right? No matter how logically sound and consistent your arguments are, you won't change their mind. I disagree. Now, I agree that I won't change everybody's mind, but I can change a significant amount of people's minds, and I can help a lot of people. And I don't think that one debate is going to make somebody become a vegan. I don't think it's just one debate. But I think that over time, the more we express our points, the more we talk about it, the better off we all are. It took me months and months to become an atheist. It took me time to change my mind. I wasn't convinced in one day. It took me months. So it's not everybody can change that easily, right? Sometimes it takes thinking and analyzing and learning. And so debates are just part of the process. Did you go from religious to atheist or agnostic to atheist? Religious to atheist. Yeah, I was a Christian, and there was a couple questions I couldn't answer. And I kept digging for the answer, and eventually I was dissuaded from religion. What ethical theory do I hold to? You mean like normative? I'm a threshold deontologist. So I agree that utility is important to recognize after a certain threshold that goes beyond a certain deontic principles. I love how people talk about getting protein as a vegan. Meanwhile, there's vegan bodybuilders. I know. Look, oftentimes you want to be like, come on, learn, you want to like be aggressive and abrasive to people, but you have to also recognize at the same time, a lot of these people aren't aware of vegan bodybuilders. They're not aware of animals. They're not aware of the arguments, right? So, as much as you want to be abrasive and be a jerk, we can't. It's not the best effective way to do that. It kind of sucks, but you have to be understanding. Is promoting individual veganism path to nation worldwide veganism? Yeah, well, I think that it starts with the people, right? Everything starts fundamentally with individual people. That's how every rights movement happened. From slavery to the civil rights movement to the gay rights, these movements start with individual people who over time spread their message, and the same applies to veganism. I don't see the vast majority of the world going vegan in the foreseeable future. That's irrelevant. We don't need everybody to be vegan, right? See, there's a point that you reach called critical mass, in which, say, right now about 3% of the public is vegan, so we don't need 100% of people to be vegan for drastic change. We need maybe 10%. 10% is the real number that we need for that to continue to spread and grow and become a bigger movement. And so that critical mass is all we are looking for. And I suspect it's coming faster than we think. Number one, meat is getting expensive. If you notice, beef prices are going way up, right? And that's not going to come down anytime soon. It's not just inflation causing that. It's the fact that nobody wants to be farmers anymore. Nobody wants to go out and raise animals. It's too expensive. There's no profit anymore. And another reason is because of the artificial cultivated meat, right? Cultured meats are going to be introduced to the markets next year. Next year, 2027, 2028. We're going to see an explosion of cultured meats. And when people realize how cheap those are compared to the traditional meat, they're going to be like, wow, we're going after this. And then that's going to spark a moral paradigm shift where they're recognizing, wow, look what we've done this whole time to the animals. Look how this meat, look at how we get this meat. And look how different it is from that process we did before. So it's going to seem outdated. Another thing I suspect is AI and virtual reality worlds where we are put into animal bodies, virtually speaking, right? And we start feeling their sensations. We feel what it's like to be an animal, and people are growing, and people will understand more and more what it's like to be an animal. That they're not just stupid, they're smart. And I also suspect that robotics is going to change our understanding of how we treat others. Because as we introduce more and more humanoid robots to the world, we're going to interact with them like we do with other humans. And because they're not human, we're going to treat them like shit. we're gonna be more susceptible to treat them like shit, push them around, throw them around, abuse them. And as robots grow more and more in intelligence and emotional intelligence, we're going to start realizing how terrible we are, how shitty we are, how abusive we can be. And that's also going to spark a moral paradigm awakening. Technology is the oftentimes our saving grace. How different will the world be in 5 years? Look, when we talk about this in you know, from our point of view, the future looks scary. No matter what it is, it's going to look scary because it's foreign to us. But we will adapt with the future. Just like today, we live in a world full of AI and robotics and all this stuff. Social media. The world is very different than it was 5 years ago. Yet we're used to it. We're pretty much used to it, right? But 5 years ago, if you would have told somebody what today was like, they would have been super scared about it. But I think within 5 years, so 2030, we will have reached AGI, in other words, AI that can perform what a human can do, and we'll be on the way to super intelligence. And remember, AGI will be accessible to everybody. It'll be cheap. AGI will be cheap, and so with that people don't really grasp what that means. AGI means agentic, a general intelligence. Intelligence that can perform things on the computer, that can do tasks, that can do jobs that you do. It can just replace your job, right? So we're going to see lots of people lose their jobs. We're going to see lots of talks about universal basic income. We're going to see an economic paradigm shift in the next 3-4 years as people realize, oh my gosh, robots and AI are going to take our fucking jobs. We're going to see more and more robots doing labor, okay, working in factories, working with people, and people are going to hire robots to do jobs, and we're going to see a shift from people doing labor and thinking that's the way it is versus people hiring robots as the workers. We're also going to see robots become more and more human-like. This is maybe 10 years. It'll be harder to distinguish a human from a robot. They'll be very human-like. With skin, we'll put skin-like material on there. They'll be emotional to us. In fact, more and more people are probably going to have relationships with robots in the future. Sexual relationships. Perhaps even marry a robot. Because they're going to be so similar to us. It's going to be crazy. But again, in the future, it'll be just normal, right? From our point of view, it sounds creepy and scary, but in the future, it'll be just everyday life. Well, yeah, it sounds great, but people are already using ChatGPT for relationships. They're literally talking to ChatGPT as if it's their boyfriend or girlfriend. It's already happening. A lot of people are literally in relationships with their AI. It's already happening, guys. And you think the birth rate's bad now? You think the birth rate's going down is a big thing now? No, literally, no one's gonna have babies anymore in the future. Like, no one's gonna want a baby. A human baby? That's stupid. That's crazy. Our human population is gonna steeply decline. And again, we think it's sad. Oh, that's scary. That's sad. But This is how every species works. Every species does this. They go up, they peak, and then they decline, and then another species takes over. That's evolution, right? So we're just scared of it because we're aware of what's happening. But it's not scary. It's actually not scary. It's just evolution. The good news is that what's replacing us is smarter than us. It's more intelligent. It's more capable. It can go to space. It can travel the universe. It can go see what's inside of a black hole. Right? And this is why preserving us, this is why humans are very valuable, because we are the ones making this happen. We're the first generation of people that have created something that succeeds them. The superior. Think about that. We're the first generation of people in human history to have set foot on another planetary body, the moon. The first ones to go to space, the first ones to invent vaccines and cures to diseases. That's remarkable. Who we are is remarkable. And I think that our descendants will always look back on us and go, wow, those were some legends. Those are some legends. In the Human Museum, the Human History Museum of Extinct Species. We'll be there. There'll be a little box with our faces in them. Wow, look how people used to exist. Wow, they used to have biological bodies? That's crazy. They used to get diseases? That's sad. They used to age? That's crazy. They used to age. They used to live on Earth only? Wow, that's crazy. Now we live on several planets. I think the future is going to be amazing. And on top of that, we get to cherish the moments we have today. Each other. Family, friends, the life we have today. No matter how advanced we get in the future, our lives today are still unique and special. Nobody, again, will be this way. Just like our ancestors understood their lives were unique. So can we. All of us are unique. So that's a cosmic perspective for you. But have a good night. See you next time. By the way, I may be on the Atheist Experience soon. Justin from Deconstruction has me in contact with one of the people from Atheist Experience, and I might be on there. We'll see. But have a good day.